and was only suitable for people aged 18 or over, will almost certainly have an adult theme, and might well contain sex or violence, which are quite graphic. It may also contain explicit language, including sexual swear words. Thanks for listening.
But here's what his revelation comes to him. He's kind of got all this stuff, like, touching, wiping, mourning of the animals.
Not wiping, whipping.
Yeah. Also not touching.
I am dyslexic. I hope I'm not having like a stroke.
Do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
And an atheist almost always becomes supporters of eugenics and abortion.
A swine is hungry for nuts.
Jesus hates him too.
Satan is real.
Being a Satanist is an open declaration of revolt against counterproductive received wisdom and mindless rogue tradition.
Decapitate her head off.
We're done. You're done.
Obama!
Obama!
God, Jesus.
I know, Meg loves that. Welcome to the Godless Rebelution. This is episode 117. Today is Wednesday, August 3.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
That was a military date thing. I didn't say erd at the end of it.
I was Air Force, so we said like first, second, third.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's because the Air Force is fucked.
Because we're proper.
On tonight's episode, we have lots of exciting things and stories, and Matt's going to switch things up for us a little bit. We've also got an interview with the Satanic Temple's Lucien Greaves.
And if you're not excited, you're probably dead.
He's going to talk to us a little bit about the after-school Satan Club, which is very exciting stuff, man. I'm excited about it.
I wish they had that when I was in school.
I think it would have been really fucking cool,
It
man.
would have.
It would have kept me from, shooting things in the backyard with my BB gun and breaking shit and almost burnt down the house one day.
You were a fucking hellraiser.
I was a latchkey kid with no parental supervision from the hours of like 3 o'clock until 6 or 7. And we would get in a lot of different troubles.
Yeah, you really needed Satan in your heart.
Yes. Satan could have been providing me some valuable lessons in, I don't know, science and art and history.
Well, actually, you might have found a way to make fire work better with science.
Ooh, yes. All the hellfire and brimstone.
Yes.
That would have not helped me not burn down the house. It would have not helped me not burn down the house.
Mm-hmm.
But then also with your science, you would learn what puts fire out.
Sure.
Hopefully.
Depends on the fire, right?
Well, yeah, but every fire can be put out by something.
Speaking of fires, you were awfully busy yesterday, I think. What happened?
A lightning bolt decided to catch the fucking desert on fire.
God damn, that god's an asshole.
The desert? What's to set on fire in the desert?
Oh, shitloads of fucking grass and sagebrush and trees and old barns and...
Sounds like a forest.
Old barns?
Yeah.
Just out in the middle of the desert?
Well, we were sitting out there watching the fire coming at us, getting ready to do a back burn to burn off before it can get to a house. And we're looking out there like, whoa, that got really big really fast. We're like, yep, that's a barn.
So what's a back burn?
So,
I mean, other than, sleeping out in the sun if you're a ginger.
When the fire's burning and it's kind of spreading out on its own and doing its own thing, and it's coming towards an area where you don't want it to come towards, you can actually burn off the grass around that area where you can control it. So that way when the fire meets that burned area, it can't burn any further past it.
Doesn't have anywhere to go.
No so fuel. If you go ahead of it and you burn all that available fuel up in that area for a certain distance, the fire will hit it and it's done.
So you're just setting an area where it's already burned, there's no fuel there, so the fire has to stop.
Yeah, right? So we're doing a controlled burn that we can control ourselves.
Oh, it's like digging a ditch, kind of.
Pretty much.
You're just
getting rid of all the
Fire.
vegetation. Yes. We're firefighters. That's what we do.
Well, it sounds like you're making fires.
Well, sometimes you gotta make a fire to fight a fire.
You've got to fight fire with fire, is that what
you're
saying? Awesome.
I'm surprised you didn't take that softball.
and we're out there in an area where there's no hydrants, so water conservation is huge, and it would took us, we're probably 30 minutes from getting back to a water source we could fill up, so we had to do a lot of driving back and forth.
So if you're setting the fire to stop the other fire, how do you keep your fire from spreading?
We have the fire trucks already positioned there that are full of water, so we can actually lay down a little bit of fire in a spot and control it and put it out so it's not growing on its own, so you can actually control the growth of the fire.
Ooh.
Versus having one just start up and be like, well, that thing's already got fucking 10-foot flames.
Ooh.
Just rolling through the desert.
I see.
So, There's a method to the madness of it.
Sure there is.
In the area where we were going to start one was next to a road, so it couldn't burn towards the home that was already there, so it burned that area along the road, so when it met that area...
There's a home out in the desert?
Oh, there's a bunch of homes out there.
Yeah.
That's what my job was last night, was trying to protect the homes. So...
It looked very fun.
Yeah. It's an exciting time, except for when you get back at like midnight, it's like, well, now we gotta clean shit.
Damn it, I still have to work.
Fuck.
Well, you guys just work. I mean, you're basically working...
We're there
the whole time, right? I mean,
yeah, we're there for...
Like, what is it, 3 24-hour shifts?
3 24-hour shifts. We're on call the entire time. So if something happens like that, the only rule that we have is if we worked all night long on that fire, and I was supposed to go home this morning, they will pay me 8 hours of overtime to sleep, so I don't have to drive home.
Oh, that's
with
nice.
No rest.
That's nice.
So
that you don't die on the way home.
Pretty much.
Well, that's probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Probably.
And if you get recalled in and you work more than like 12 hours, you're allowed to stay at the station to sleep. So.
If you say that again?
So if there's on big fires, like last night, there's nobody on Dugway. If Dugway had a fire on it, none of us were there.
Oh.
We had emptied the entire department on this fire.
Oh, okay.
So they will recall guys that are at home to come in and fill in positions in the station or to actually go out and help fight the fire itself.
Well, how far away from Dugway was the fire?
About 15 miles.
Oh. I thought it was like out on Dugway.
No, that was out on BLM land.
Huh.
So.
Well, that's fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I was out golfing, and
that's kind of the same.
Yeah,
I know, it was pretty harrowing. It got really windy, and I saw some lightning in the distance. I thought to myself, oh, it looks like that's going to start some fires out in the desert.
And it did.
I got home and Ryan sent me some information and pictures of the fire out in the desert.
A cool video of a big giant jet dumping like 10,000 gallons of fire retardant on it. That thing was pretty cool. Flying literally like 100 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Those pilots have some fucking balls.
It looked like it dropped like past the fire.
Yeah, because that chemical they lay down, they lay it in front of the fire so when the fire gets to it, it's supposed to be a chemical that the fire can't burn.
Oh, okay.
So it's a fire retardant agency, so it's not to put on that fire itself, it's to put a line in front of the fire so when the fire reaches that.
So it's not
hopefully
it's not to put the fire out, it's to create a line where the fire
should hopefully,
like you did with your back burn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what the goal of it is, but there's never 100% saying that fire can't burn through it or jump over it or something like that. So.
I see. Did you fight any fires yesterday, Matt?
I sure didn't.
So we were all at the Atheists of Utah camping trip over the weekend.
Yep. Yeah.
Which was a whole lot of fun.
There were fires there.
There were a few different fires.
I didn't try to fight any like some people on the trip.
I did. Yes. Someone, I don't think they were really fighting the fire so much as just
had a fight with it.
Getting their ass kicked by it.
Yeah, got their ass kicked by the fire. Got burned pretty badly.
And I was not there that night, so you can't blame the firefighter.
Yeah, I need to follow up with them and make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
It's not so bad that it's life-threatening, at least at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, still, it's going to leave a nasty scar.
Yeah, it's going to be a big scar there for sure.
Yeah, the only problem with third-degree burns, if they burn too deep, you can get blood poisoning.
Yeah, I don't think it was that deep.
I had a buddy deal with that.
Really?
Yeah.
How did he get burned that way? Was this another hot fucking poker when you're?
It was the same night. It was one of the guys that took part in the hot poker burning party. Got blood poisoning, and he called us up. He's like, "Hey, I got this weird like black line going up my arm. I don't know what it is. Should I go to the hospital?" Like, yeah, go to the hospital. And he called later on. He's like, "Oh,
no, you'll be fine."
It's almost to my shoulder. Normal. We're like, "Dude, go to the ER." He went to the ER, and they basically said, "If you would have waited till morning, you probably would have been dead. Because once that reaches your heart, you're fucked."
Huh. Damn.
It's nothing but necrotic blood cells that are dying on his way up his arm.
Damn.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun on the camping trip, though. I think we had probably between 50 people.
Yeah, there was a good number of people there.
We all went camping at the Current Creek Reservoir in Utah, and did some boating with Kevin on Friday. But my truck kind of got fucked on the way up there. Right outside Heber, it started making a whole lot of noise. It sounded like I had rocks under the hood, and I grew increasingly concerned about its ability to make it up to the campsite, Made it up to the campsite just fine, but then, of course, I was terrified that I wasn't going to get back to civilization.
I don't think.
And we were a good, 45 minutes at least away from even mobile phone service.
Yeah. And plus about 16 miles of a nasty, washed-out dirt road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, total washboard road that was a real pain in the ass. So, Ryan here was kind enough to delay his own leaving the campsite to go home and take care of shit before he had to go work the next day, to drive me all the way from the campsite, all the way down the mountain into Heber, where we acquired some things that we thought might help the truck. Oil, which is a good one.
Was a good help.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really glad that we thought to check the oil before we left. Otherwise, we would have just
bought stuff that we didn't need.
Yeah, we would have gone into and then come back up and still had no oil and still a fucking truck that didn't work. So I checked the oil before we left, and it was bone fucking dry. Yeah. So got some oil, a thermostat. Initially, we thought it was the water pump because there was a belt broken and missing.
It ended up being for the smog pump on it, which you don't need.
No.
Until you go in for emissions.
Right. Yeah, it's good for emissions.
Bad for everything else.
Bad for helping the truck run well.
We're not being very environmentally
conscious, yeah.
But you only drive this truck literally twice a year, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I put less than 500 miles on this truck every year. I use it once, maybe twice a year to go camping, and then...
Like taking stuff to Pride, maybe?
Yeah, and I'll use it in to haul shit to the Pride Festival. I'll be hauling shit to the Ogden Pride Festival this weekend. But yeah, so Ryan was kind enough to take me all the way into town, all the way back, and then still have to drive all the way back down out of the mountains again to get home. So thank you very much, man.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that a whole lot. I owe you big time.
Like I told you, you probably would have done the same thing for me if the situation hadn't. Oh, you fucking asshole.
No, I absolutely would have, but I appreciate it so much nonetheless. Yeah. It was very awesome of you.
That's what us humans do, not like the Christians.
To help one another, yes. And Matt also was up there.
I was.
Matt did not arrive on Friday, though.
I did not.
Matt doesn't know days.
I don't understand how you got that mixed up. Like,
I don't know. I don't know either. Everything said the 29th.
Well, and then even texting you and when are you coming up and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, I
don't know.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt arrived Saturday after Ryan had left.
Well, I actually was going to be there Friday, but then they decided to do construction on Provo Canyon, and it was backed up 12 miles all the way up into Orem. It took us 10 minutes to go a quarter of a mile, and we were still
screw this.
Yeah, we were a block from my house, so I'm like, fuck it, we'll go tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't fault you for that one. That would suck.
And Danielle's fucking adorable when she's drunk, by the way.
God, is she?
She's adorable all the time anyway, but she was funny. She's funny and fun. Yeah.
Definitely extroverted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. She's dancing and singing and yeah. It was fun.
I thought she was going to fight that fire too for a minute.
She got a little stumbly. It was fun. Mm-hmm. Played a lot of fun games, sat around, listened to music, hung out with a lot of really cool people. I had a great time.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of fun. No fights or no drama or anything. Yeah, it was just a nice kickback weekend of excessive drinking and playing with fire.
Yep.
And boating and chit-chat, and Matt and I had a pretty good conversation about psychopaths.
Oh.
Yeah.
We did have that.
I told ghost stories about Ed Gein.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when everybody else went to sleep and there's 8 of us left up around one of the other camps.
Hometown.
There's a guy named Ed Gein. He was the inventor of the first pocket pussy. That's what I told him.
Jesus. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Then I told the story of how he invented the first pocket pussy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I just realized what you meant by that.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Duh, dude.
That took me a minute.
Terrible.
I'm
yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's not terrifying. And then it took me a minute. Okay. Yeah, Jesus Christ, man.
I don't know if he had that, but he definitely did have a vest of human skin with 6 nipples sewn on the front.
He had a taxidermied animal in which he had implanted one of these women's vaginas into, and they theorized that he used it to pleasure himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a pretty good dude, that Ed Gein.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you're in Wisconsin.
Pretty much. I mean, I know my round of taxidermied animals.
So were you just relating stories of what Ed Gein had done?
Yeah. I was just having fun telling fucked up stories around the campfire when everybody else was all fucked up.
It's a pretty sad state when you're trying to come up with ghost stories and you're able to pass on a Dahmer for a worse story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. for a guy from your state.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we had that. That was a whole lot of fun. Coming up this weekend, we have the Ogden Pride Festival that Atheists of Utah will be participating in.
Which, if I would have realized that was this weekend, I would have taken overtime.
Oh yeah, it's a smallish festival, and it's not like all weekend or anything. I think it's like a 6 or 8 hour thing.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of, during the day into the early evening.
Where'd they do it at?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. I will be packing things into the truck and driving it wherever Tracy. I
didn't know if it was a little park down on historic 25th Street or if it was down in that area.
I haven't attended the Ogden Pride Festival yet.
Honestly, this might be the first one because I didn't know they had one before.
Yeah, I've gone to the Provo Pride Festival. Yeah. I think last year may have been the first. It was either last year or the year before was the first Ogden Pride Festival.
Because I knew the Moab, the Provo, and the Salt Lake Pride Festival, but I didn't realize Ogden had one too.
Yeah, and we were out of town, but I wasn't on the board anyway, and so it was just, so I didn't participate, but I will be there this year.
All right.
Should be a good time. Hang out with some of the LGBT peoples in the Ogden area.
The good peoples.
Yeah. I like them very much. Most of them. There's some assholes there, for sure, as there are in any group.
Every group has assholes, yeah.
God can help you.
Is that what God does? He helps. Tell me, why didn't God help my innocent friend who died for no reason, while the guilty roam free? Okay, fine. Forget the one-offs. How about the countless wars declared in his name? Okay, fine. Let's skip the random meaningless murder for a second, shall we? How about the racist, sexist, phobia soup we've all been drowning in because of him?
We've got a bunch of different things to cover tonight. Maybe we should start with a Trumpy.
Oh, what do we got for Trump?
Well, his entire campaign is going down in fucking flames. I mean,
the Titanic stayed afloat way better.
Just there's just so much fuckery going on in his campaign. Over the weekend, I was watching one of my news programs, the Meet the Press.
Yeah. And
Donald Trump had made all of these terrible comments about the Khan family.
Oh, yeah.
Khizr Khan, who had spoken during the Democratic National Committee convention, or the Democratic National Convention, and
he dissed Trump.
He did diss Trump a bit, which was
every right to do.
Yeah, had every right to do. I mean, he talked about, of course, the Khans are a Muslim family who lost a son in Iraq, I believe.
And they were immigrants.
Yes, and they're immigrants. And they lost a son fighting for the United States.
Who was I want to say their son he was one of the ones that was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor because he had sacrificed himself to stop a suicide bomber who actually detonated himself, and he died in the process.
He did win an award. I'm not sure which award it was for sure. So Donald Trump had a big problem with what Mr. Khan said, because during Mr. Khan's speech, Mr. Khan asked a question. He said, he's talking about Donald Trump, and he's saying that, Donald Trump wants to block Muslims from entering the country and, is xenophobic. And then he said, have you even read the Constitution, sir? And he pulled out a pocket copy of the Constitution. And he's like, I will lend you mine for you to read it. Donald Trump lost his fucking mind about it. And had all of his surrogates out on the news programs saying that Mr. Khan said that Donald Trump has never read the Constitution, which couldn't be any farther from the truth. Of course, Donald Trump has read the Constitution. But that's not what the guy fucking said.
He said, have you?
Yeah, he said, have you read it? But of course, Donald Trump surrogates all go out there and twist shit and fucking lie through their teeth and say that, Mr. Khan said that Donald Trump hasn't read it. That's not what he said.
And then Mr. Trump says since Mr. Khan's wife was on the stage next to him and she was a woman, she was not allowed to speak, and that's why she stood there silently. Instead of the truth behind it, where she said, no, anytime it comes to seeing or talking about my son that died in war, because it's very hard to speak.
She gets too emotional.
Yeah,
she gets very emotional, and it's very difficult for her to speak about it.
I guarantee she was asked to speak, and if she would have wanted to speak, she probably could have gotten on the microphone and spoke, but it's still a very traumatic thing that their family had to go through, and she still has a hard time with it, so she didn't speak.
Yeah, and like I said, the entire Trump campaign is just in full meltdown.
Yeah.
So on Sunday, they had Paul Manafort doing an interview, and during the interview, I've never seen, previous to this interview, Paul Manafort stumble, stammer, say, anything, ever on any of the interviews that I've ever seen him do. And in this one, it was just, he stammered his entire way through the interview and looked like he was about to bolt from the set at any moment, just because he was having such a hard time defending all of this bullshit that Donald Trump has been doing lately. And at one point, Paul Manafort even confused President Clinton and Secretary Clinton, and in making reference to them, and the Khan family mentioned
President Clinton
and Secretary Obama. And then went on to continue stammering things, and then he mixed up another name later in the interview. It was a terrible fucking interview. He went down in flames in this interview, and since then it's just been one thing after another of Donald Trump's campaign surrogates and Trump himself losing their fucking minds and just shitting all over themselves on television.
Also, didn't we have Trump? Well, you had the Trump-Russia thing going on this weekend. Then Trump also said, Russia won't invade Ukraine. Like, well,
they've already done that.
They did that
Putin
already.
Wouldn't move on Ukraine.
Or Trump asking, well, why don't we use nukes? They're just sitting there collecting dust.
Why do we build them if we can't use them?
Yeah, let's, why not? Like, he's confused on why we don't use nukes.
Yeah, so I saw an article earlier about this, just about all of the missteps really recently within the Trump campaign. This was on MSNBC or on NBCnews.com, and it said that just within the last 24 hours, in a Washington Post interview, Trump declined to endorse House Speaker Paul Ryan against his primary challenger. Trump reiterated that he hasn't endorsed Senator John McCain and said that the one-time prisoner of war, quote, has not done a good job for the vets.
Bullshit.
He slapped out at Republican Senator Kelly Ayotte, saying, she has given me zero support. He suggested that Americans should put their 401k funds, or should pull their 401k funds out of the stock market, as if that's a thing.
Yeah.
He said he's always wanted to receive a Purple Heart, but that having one gifted to him by a supporter was much easier.
That one there, I'm like, really? You just said that with the guy in front of you?
Yeah.
You just said that.
Yeah. In a large speech that is being recorded and broadcast.
In front of people.
Yeah. It's my guess that Donald Trump has no fucking idea how you earn a Purple Heart.
Yeah, and that's why I said I've always wanted a Purple Heart. I'm like, you know how you get a Purple Heart?
Join the fucking military and get wounded, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's not something, it's like, a lot of people aren't prideful over a Purple Heart. Like, that's not something you want to get. It's not an achievement you want to have.
Yeah.
A Bronze Star, or a Silver Star, or a Medal of Honor while you're still alive. Yeah, those are things that people don't try to get, but that are given to them, and that's something they take pride in.
Yeah, I'm sure there are very, very, very few people who join the military wanting to get a Purple Heart.
Well, I've even heard people say a Purple Heart's an award for the enemy.
Oh, I guess I can kind of see that.
Because they wounded you. That's their award for hitting you, especially if they take you out of combat.
Huh. Continuing the list of things that have happened within the last 24 hours, Trump has said that the handling of sexual harassment has got to be up to the individual.
Unless that person's a cop, they can't really handle it themselves.
He accused Kazir Khan of being bothered by his plan to keep terrorists out of the country, and said that he had no regrets about his clash with the family. When he questioned Mrs. Khan's silence during Mr. Khan's speech and all of that other bullshit. He has appeared to feud with a crying baby during a rally.
Oh, he did. He feuded.
I don't know that he feuded with the baby so much as the mother. And
he kind of called the mother stupid too in the whole thing.
And so here's the thing, right? If you have a crying baby somewhere, the courteous and right thing to do or correct thing to do is to take your baby away from the crowd so you're not disturbing everybody.
And she might have been doing that because in the whole thing, in the beginning of it, the baby starts crying and Trump goes, I love babies.
I know, right.
Baby, I love babies. You're okay. You're okay. I love babies. You're okay. So she's probably like, oh, okay, I'll sit down again then.
Yeah.
Then Trump later on was like, hey, I was kidding.
Yeah.
Get that baby out of here.
If they're under 10, don't fucking take them anywhere. They stay at home until they're 10 because I don't want to deal with your shitty fucking kid that you're not going to be able to handle or you're unwilling to teach.
Yeah. I don't want to have to deal with fucking kids either.
Don't let them pee on me.
But, and so I was getting to the point where, he said this, the baby's crying and Donald Trump says, oh, and the crying baby, oh, I love babies. I love hearing them cry. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. The kid's crying, blah, blah,
we
blah.
have all
blah.
the same points of view.
So
it's really easy.
We sound so similar.
He gets me.
But so he says all of this to the mother who may have been just seconds before then wanting to take the child out. But then he says, oh no, keep the baby here. It's fine. I love the sound of crying babies. Which I'm not surprised about at all. He probably falls asleep.
God.
He probably falls asleep to that. But so he says, no, the baby's fine. And then he goes on with his speech and then the baby's still crying. And so he turns to the mother again and says, I'm just kidding. I want you're fine to take the baby out of here now.
Did you actually think I like the sound of crying babies?
Yeah. Do you actually think that I like the sound of crying babies? Like some people, right?
Yeah.
Like you just fucking told her that it was fine to keep the baby there. In my opinion, she should have left, she should have taken the baby out, but after the guy who she is there to see says, no, stay, I like the sound, keep the baby here. What is she supposed to do? Go, fuck you, I'm leaving. No. He made it clear that he wanted the baby to stay there and then later chastised her for remaining. They're like, what a fucking asshole.
Was he being sarcastic by chance?
No, he didn't.
No, in his
same tone.
Yeah.
The tone was consistent with the whole thing.
Yeah, actually, hang on one second. I will find
it.
Because if he went over to her and he was like,
well, he was at the podium the whole time.
Okay, but if he's like, no, seriously, I love the sound of crying babies. Like, who doesn't? You know what I mean? Like, everyone loves the sound of crying babies. Don't worry about it. Keep your baby here that's screaming and crying while I'm trying to give a speech. Yeah, I love the sound of it. Then I would be kind of on his side because, get the fucking hint and take your shitty kid out of here.
Well, it was not sarcastic at all. He wanted the baby there.
It was just a PR move that he couldn't keep up for more than 30 seconds.
That's kind of the way I think it was going. Let's I got the volume up.
Okay.
The biggest in the world, the Chinese bank. Don't worry about that baby. I love babies. So I love babies. I hear that baby crying. I like it.
Oh.
I like it. What a baby.
It's like an
what
SNL
a beautiful
skit.
baby. Don't worry.
He's doing PR stuff.
Yeah, don't worry.
The mom's running around like, don't worry about it, It's young and beautiful and healthy, and that's what we want. Okay. But look. We have the piggy bank. They have ripped us to shreds. Ripped us absolutely to shreds. Actually, I was only kidding. You can get the baby out of here.
What a giant fucking dick.
That's all right. Don't worry. I think she really believed me that I love having a baby crying while I'm speaking. That's okay. People don't understand. That's okay.
People don't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth when I tell them exactly what. Like, what the fuck, man? What a giant fucking
that was a dick move.
Yeah.
If he would have said it, if he would have arrived at been like, hey, could you please remove the baby from the room? It's a little distracting to other people in the room. Hey, I'm sorry. Could you just take him out?
Yeah,
that would have been different.
And you can say it kindly, like, "Oh, I'm so glad you came out here, but we're trying to do this. Would you mind stepping into the hall?"
Yeah, it's getting a little distracting.
Instead of saying, "Oh, I love the sound of crying babies. Yeah. Don't worry about it." The mother's like, "Oh, I need to get out." No, it's fine. Keep the baby here. I love the sound of crying babies.
I'm competing for a chance to obtain one of the most difficult jobs on Earth. I can't stand a baby one time while I'm talking.
What does he do when Putin puts on a diaper and starts crying?
I don't know. How does he stand the sound of himself crying all the time?
Right.
Continuing the list, he reiterated that if the election is rigged, I would not be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
The sitting president of the United States, President Barack Obama, publicly called Trump unfit to serve and urged Republicans to withdraw their support for him.
Like they support him already?
Yeah. Trump spokesman Katrina Pierson suggested that Obama and Clinton are to blame for the death of Humayun Khan?
The Khan's son, who died
in 2004 when neither were in the executive branch at the time.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to this on CNN today, the piss fight they were having going on. She's like, well,
I've got that clip. We'll play later. Also,
do you?
Yeah, we'll play that one later because she's such a fucking cunt about it, and just keeps trying to roll through it and lie and just.
It's like she's swimming in a shit pond trying to stay clean.
Yeah, an ally of Paul Manafort told CNN colleague John Harwood at NBC colleague John Harwood at CNBC. That the campaign chairman is, quote, mailing it in, leaving the rest of the staff, quote, suicidal. Sitting GOP Congressman Richard Hanna, HP head Meg Whitman, and former Christie aide Maria Kamala all said they plan to vote for Hillary Clinton. The Washington Post released a transcript of its full interview with Trump, indicating, among other things, that he paused 5 times during the interview to watch television coverage in the middle of the sit-down. A GOP source told NBC's Katie Tur that Reince Priebus is apoplectic over Trump's refusal to endorse Ryan and is making calls to the campaign to express his, quote, extreme displeasure. And the last bit of the quote that I posted here on Facebook says, "What are we missing? Any one of these items would be problematic on a normal campaign day. This all happened since 8 a.m. yesterday."
Yeah.
This is within 24 hours. All of this shit happened.
This is a day of Trump.
A day in the life of dipshit.
It's fucking...
I hope they donate his brain to science.
What brain?
God, it's unbelievable.
And the thing that's crazy, too, is the amount of people that are leaving the GOP right now saying, I do not support this. How many people have left the Democrat side, because of Hillary?
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah,
but,
a few for sure.
But voiciously out in the media, like, no, I do not support Trump. Someone like, I was.
There's a lot of Democrats too.
Are there?
All the Bernie or bust folks?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see a lot more that are falling in line going, okay, Hillary is the candidate we will support.
Yeah, there's still a fair number though.
Is there?
It's not.
Maybe a number that have left.
Maybe they're not getting the same press as.
Well, no.
Or I just haven't.
It's still a fair number.
Okay.
I mean, these are the 2 most disliked candidates. Yes. So.
Yeah. Yeah, in the history of presidential politics here in the United States, they are the most disliked candidates on each side.
True.
But yeah, just the entire Trump campaign has turned into a giant shit show. Like more of a shit show than it was, which I didn't. I mean, I figured that it's possible that it could get worse, but this is like nuclear option, pants shitting, waste of everybody's time.
So Donald Trump want some of the debates to change or have them canceled because they take place during NFL football games.
Yes.
I think he should have those happen because that's beneficial to him. If there's less viewership, that's beneficial to him because he says the most fucking crazy shit.
He doesn't. He doesn't believe that.
No.
He's the extreme narcissist.
Or maybe he realizes, fuck, whenever I talk, my fucking ratings go down.
No way he realizes that.
No, I don't think. I think he has no introspection, really.
No.
I think
he's a sociopath.
So I posted out on Facebook earlier today that I think he knows he's not going to win. I mean, there's something in his brain that knows he's going to have his ass handed to him.
This is a bad deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bad deal. I know these business things. This is not a good deal.
Yeah, well, every one of his business deal ends this way, so he's got a lot of experience.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He's preparing people for the loss. Meg is in studio with us, and she's pointing at the screen. What'd you say, Meg?
Oh yeah, we didn't even say.
He's preparing people already, like saying it's rigged.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's priming them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I had posted that on Facebook earlier that I'm fairly certain that he knows he's not going to win, and that the longer he continues his campaign, the worse it's going to be, and the worse his beating is going to be at the polls. And I think he's going to walk away.
I think that'll be hilarious.
I really do. I think that he's going to step away and discontinue his campaign after winning the nomination for the Republican.
If he doesn't walk away and he stays in this till the end, do you think there's a possibility of a record landslide?
Oh yes, I absolutely do. I think he will lose in a landslide if he continues.
We'll have to look up what the largest differences for election.
Yeah.
For landslide election. We'll have to look at that up to see if
Truman Dewey.
We were talking pre-show.
I don't know.
We were talking pre-show that after the RNC,
yeah. Yep.
Trump had a 6-point bounce. He was leading Hillary Clinton by 6 points. After the DNC, Hillary Clinton is now beating him by 9 points. So that's a 15-point swing in 1 week.
Yes.
That doesn't take into account any poll that would have happened since Sunday when this shit show really took flight.
And I think they said that was one of the largest bounces in history as well. For
one of the largest swings between the two parties or candidates. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I mean it's a huge swing either way. I mean 15 points
that's a big difference.
That's huge in a week.
Yeah.
That's a big fucking swing.
When it comes down to like 2 or 3 points.
And it's not going to be 2 or 3 points.
No.
Like I said, after the past few days, I would imagine that the next poll will have her ahead by 11. At least.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
So, I imagine that he is going to step down. He will not continue his campaign. And then what?
I just hope he does it after states are already set on their ballots.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really...
It would be the first time. I don't know if there's ever been a time in history where a presidential candidate has been selected by their party has stepped down.
I don't know. I'd have to look into the history of that, but it's certainly not happened during my lifetime.
I don't think it's ever happened.
It would be interesting. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that and find out for sure. Because this is... we keep saying that, there's no way Donald Trump is going to win. This is the weirdest election ever. What's the next weird thing that could happen? I think that will be
the next weird thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be the next weird thing in this campaign cycle.
And it just shows how he's been making a complete mockery of our fucking election system.
But what
not on purpose,
kills me is that so many fucking people have had a hand in making this happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's his supporters that make a mockery of it. I mean, anyone's allowed...
The millions of people that fucking voted for this fucking clown.
Yeah, anyone's allowed to throw their hat in the ring, but people like him should be immediately laughed off the stage.
Yeah. This narcissistic, sociopathic...
Yeah, it's all the fucking y'all states.
Yeah.
God, so tired of them fucking ruining shit. Go to school and then vote. School, then vote. That's the order. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fucking mess.
And I'm not just talking about Jesus. I'm talking about all organized religion. Exclusive groups created to manage control. A dealer getting people hooked on the drug of hope. His followers, nothing but addicts who want their hit of bullshit to keep their dopamine of ignorance. Addicts afraid to believe the truth, that there's no order, there's no power, that all religions are just metastasizing mind worms. meant to divide us so it's easier to rule us by the charlatans that want to run us. All we are to them are paying fanboys of their poorly written sci-fi franchise. If I don't listen to my imaginary friend, why the fuck should I listen to yours?
We wanted to do some sandwiches between the Trump stories.
Okay.
I know Matt brought some fun stuff. What do you got for us, Matt?
Do you want blood pressure medication stuff or
I don't know.
Okay.
Is it gonna make me ragey?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go through those first.
Rage! All right.
So is everyone aware that Obama has commuted the sentences for 214 federal prisoners?
Yes.
No.
That was today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not aware of this.
Yeah, 214 federal prisoners, you know, they were vetted and everything. They were minor drug charges, serving life terms.
Like, you had some weed, you're in jail for...
Because of the third strike.
Yeah, 3 strikes and all that.
Non-violent.
Yeah. So let's see what wonderful and kind things the Republicans on the Fox News site had to say about this. Most of them are not racist Christians, as they're so fond of telling us.
I'm not a racist, but...
And where better to find truly honest thoughts without the facade of socially acceptable phrasing than internet comments. Trump 2016, save what's left.
Of what, the cookies?
They were all black. Every single one of them.
Jesus.
Oh, that's nothing.
Wow.
He has the authority, but of course misuses it. Life sentences mean just that. Oh well, Trump for president. Obama is a backstab chump and is always against law-abiding citizens.
Always.
Yep. Obama needs to be impeached. I don't care if it's the last day of office. Impeach! Arm yourselves. Criminals are coming. With 2 M's. Coming.
They're coming.
Black men are dangerous. They have a odor. They have a odor about them too.
What the fuck?
Yep, the inner city equivalent of an ISIS talent dump from Gitmo.
Wow, these people are nice.
214 drug addicts released on the streets of America.
I would bet that most of them were not addicts. They were dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to dumb it down for the blacks. These are comments on Fox News.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I guess people the previous comments weren't able to be understood. I'm not sure.
You know, and I'm sure there's people of Fox going, you know, having someone point out how racist all these comments are, and they're reading through them like, yeah, well, I don't see any problem here. What are you talking about?
On the ticker on the bottom of the screen.
I've not seen the word nigger once here.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Gathering voters one crime at a time.
Voters, he doesn't get to be voted in again.
I know. How many?
And most, I believe felons cannot vote. Right?
No.
Right.
So,
or own a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. How many were straight Christian white men? Probably 0.
Well, once you go to jail, you take it in the ass all the time, so you're no longer straight.
I would bet that 90% of them, over 90% of them would say they're Christian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They're none of them are straight white Christian men because those guys don't get life sentences for drugs.
Yeah.
Black people do.
True.
Yeah.
That's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Agreed.
School, then vote.
Equality.
We already have a criminal problem, and our failure in chief lets more out. Thanks, Barry.
Good Lord.
I thought he only releases terrorists, but he hopes a lot of them will join the BLM, so yeah. Is a felon with a life sentence any different?
How? I'm sure this guy would call these people terrorists anyway.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or thugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stinking blacks, man.
Oh.
Nothing, 2 F's, nothing good about them. EM.
We got a problem in this country.
Yeah, we do.
It's called religion.
You mean in this post-racial United States?
Yes.
Yeah, it's called Trump, too. Putting our men in blue in harm's way doesn't surprise me at all.
How? Why would it be putting them in?
Non-violent criminals.
Yeah, non-violent. Never a good sickle cell when you need one.
Oh my God. Do these people not...
Whoa.
Fuck me.
This is on the website, folks.
Wow.
This is on the Fox News website.
That's fucking horrible.
To think that 610,000 men died to free the slaves, only to get Obama.
What?
Yeah.
How does that even work? What?
I'm confused as well.
It's Fox News. I pray the released commit heinous crimes against any liberal piece of shit.
That's very Christian of them.
Yeah, how Christian. Yeah. And how not racist.
I pray that they will commit crimes against liberals.
Yep.
So who are they praying to? The God who would allow this?
No, they got to pray to Allah for this one.
This is the God of love, though, Dan.
Yeah, exactly.
The God of mercy, the God of forgiveness, the one they always talk to us about.
Yeah, in this Christian's mind, their God wouldn't allow that kind of thing to happen.
Right.
Unless they really, really wanted to. Unless this person really, really wants it to, then, yeah, their God would allow that shit to happen.
This is why, when we talk about this major difference between the God of the Bible, the Old Testament God, and we bring up all these inconvenient facts about the Bible, and they spew on this bullshit about love and mercy and forgiveness and all that shit, like we're idiots and don't know what we're talking about. And then they turn around and this is why they like the Bible, because it's exactly what they really think.
It allows them to be justified in
it's exactly what they really think, but they know that we're not going to accept that. They know that that's not socially acceptable, so they give us all this love, mercy bullshit, but it has nothing to do with it.
Bunch of cockshittery.
Get your guns now. Already got them. Just buying high cap magazines. Gonna need them. So please tell me more about responsible gun ownership in this country and how the y'all states need more.
Well, since they're just releasing some 200 black folk, I'm just going to go on the streets and shoot every fucking black folk I see, because they might be one of them released felons from the jail.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to keep my neighborhood safe.
Got to stand my ground.
Mm-hmm.
At symbol 14 more votes for Shillery and Demon Sea Rats win at all costs. That is an Alinsky manifesto perked by the bozo.
I would imagine that it was kind of hard to decipher what the meaning behind a lot of these because of the
I'm thinking that
atrocious
guy just
grammar and spelling.
Yeah. Did that guy just hit the keyboard a few times?
Yeah, I think so. I think he passed out and banged his head off.
Smashing his head on the keyboard.
Okay, just checking.
That's what I'd like to do right now.
We can only hope
Smash his head on the keyboard.
We can only hope that they all hang out at the new Obama library in Chicago.
Chicago.
Oh my God.
Huh.
So thank you once again, Fox Viewing Republicans.
So does that mean my brother lives in the Congo?
Apparently so.
I guess I'm going to the Congo in September.
Fuck me.
How's your blood pressure, Dan?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'll live.
I won't stoop to their level and say I wish violence upon them, because I don't. I just wish they would read a book.
Sometimes I do.
You would stoop to their level, or
no? Sometimes I wish violence upon them.
Oh,
but it's not the proper thing to do. Because
no, it's not.
You don't want to stoop to their level, but sometimes people forget to check their brake lines. I don't know.
Sure.
Just I don't even know what to say.
I know. There was like 1,500 on there or something. So.
There was so much head shaking in this studio as you're going through all of that.
There's probably an earthquake in China.
And face palming and...
Yeah. But I mean, I don't air that out because I think it deserves time for what it is, or that I, have any particle of me that agrees with anything they're saying. I do it to show who these people really fucking are when they're online and anonymous and posting comments right after they've read an article that they're emotional about, and who these kinds of people are that are voting for Trump, that are out there trying to dictate how this country should be. And they're such fucking asshole, despicable human beings that can't even see beyond their idiot noses enough to understand that, well, I mean, part of it has to be the fact that they grow up in these rural areas and don't ever encounter anything different. The most distant person they meet's their second cousin.
And then they fuck her.
Well, that's who they're fucking. Yeah.
That's the only person they can legally wed, so.
Well, cause mom, that's already taken.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So they just don't even have the perspective to be able to vote properly or to be able to understand what the problems are in this country. But so I bring that on here to illuminate how it's not a thing we get on here and say, oh, these people are despicable. They fucking are.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just that we differ in opinion or politically or anything. They're fucking bad people.
Yeah, we don't just point at their political opinions and ideology and say, oh, clearly they're uninformed and therefore stupid. They are uninformed and stupid, and they prove that to everybody time and time again, over and over, every fucking where they go, leaving their trail of bullshit and racism and xenophobia everywhere they smear their greasy asses.
But they're not like friendly, nice stupid like Down syndrome. They're asshole stupid.
Yeah, that's why
I think it's time we institute my birth program.
Your birth program?
Yeah. For who's allowed.
Is it your final solution?
No. So,
okay.
To help control population in any given country when you're growing
this
too
is
large.
This is still taking a hard turn.
It is
Crazy Town, maybe.
It is Crazy Town. It's possibly semi-Crazy Town.
Okay.
Well, let's just not call it eugenics or social Darwinism.
No, it's not that. It's based off of your income. Not you're like, hey, are you
social Ryanism?
Are you
yeah?
Are you stable right now? Are you stable enough to be able to afford to have a child and raise that child? Are
social Duffyism?
Are you set into a job in which you are stable to continue making that money? And are you fucking at least educated in ways of raising a child before you fucking go and just put your dick in anything and fucking have 20 of them?
So if you're like Mississippi and your state has a collective IQ of 35, you're disqualified?
Well, there'd be waivers probably, but if you
waivers,
there would be waivers.
Yeah. Like, okay, you make good money, you can raise it, we know you can do a good job. We'll fucking turn off the thing that fucking says
we know you're fucking stupid, but you make enough to hire somebody to help you who may not be.
Yeah. Like you can afford to have a child. Like you can't just get a car without fucking having money.
Well, you can.
Well, you can, but you're probably gonna be fucking it up. It's like people that have kids without fucking knowing what it's going to take. They're like, oh, it's a gift from God, and it's my fifth one.
Well, yeah,
hey, can I get money?
You can't really control that, though. There's no way to stop
you didn't see the product the scientists invented, did you?
Ryan's views and opinions do not necessarily reflect that of the Godless Revolution.
True. It was a crazy one. No, we were talking about like
science will save us.
How to control overpopulation one time.
Yeah.
And this
Who's
one,
we?
Some guys at work.
Some firefighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure
why don't you just not go to a few fires? That would work. That would work.
We were sober.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me during one of my super drunken blackout shows.
So we had seen a thing where a guy had basically invented a switch for testicles to shut off the tubes so that sperm don't get out.
I almost had to throw a cricket sound.
You install a stint and a valve?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
Sounds
much.
Pleasant.
But are you going to do this to every person?
Oh, yeah, you get it at birth. Once those nuts drop, you get a valve.
That's not
a birth.
Well, after birth.
After birth?
That's why I said once your nuts drop.
Okay. So, don't go into medicine.
People got to realize I'm not being serious with this right now, too.
Would this also be under the GMO debate?
Well, no, because we're not engineering them from birth to, like, before birth.
You're wiping out a whole region of people.
We're not wiping them out. We're just saying, wait to have kids until you fucking until you're set in a job and you can actually financially afford to have a child and you have a home and
education.
Hey, and you got some education and it's not going to be
educated and you got some money.
Until we can realize
settlement.
Until we know that you realize it's a bad thing to leave your child in a hot car and go play Pokemon Go.
But doesn't every gas station cashier deserve to have 7 unwanted children?
No.
That we pay for.
That's what I'm like, if there's some sort of like control over, having children saying, oh, you can have as many as you want. Be like, no, hey, we gotta watch this. You can't just fuck.
So we're China.
China, yeah.
A little bit. Not that it's extreme as China. Not saying, well, China got rid of the one-child law now.
No, I think the way to solve all of that is just a lot better education system.
Yeah. Then people would be like, hey, well, I can get this thing called a condom, and I don't got to worry about that.
Yeah. And the way to solve the poor education is to fucking get rid of religion.
But since we can't get religion, they won't educate them. Let's just fucking force the people that are religious not to have fucking kids.
We can't do that. I think that might give atheists a bad name.
Don't take me serious. Don't quote this on any fucking thing. If anything ever fucking happens, if we get anywhere with this fucking podcast,
let's just cut the whole thing. Let's just cut the whole fucking thing.
I'm fucking around.
All right, moment of silence here. I'll have a good clean in.
Yeah. Okay, start over. Rewind.
People got to realize not to take the duff too serious sometimes.
Yeah. Or ever.
People think their worship some key to happiness. That's just how he owns you. Even I'm not crazy enough to believe that distortion of reality. So fuck God. He's not a good enough scapegoat for me.
Well, shall we do our interview with Mr. Lucien Greaves?
Let's do that.
Okay. I think that sounds like a fantastic idea.
After I fuck the show up.
We'll give him a call and hear a little bit more about the after-school Satan Club.
Let's see what the Satanic Temple thinks about social Darwinism and Duffyism.
Okay.
And I know he doesn't have a whole lot of time. I contacted him last night while I was out golfing and was just thinking about, I read some of the stories and heard about the after-school Satanic Club or after-school Satan Club and was on the 7th hole at Valley View and was playing like shit and had a few beers, and I thought, I should see if Doug can join us on the show. And so I sent him a text, and
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, super gracious, and said, sure. He's got a meeting tonight that he has to go to, so we can't keep him too late. So we shuffled our schedule around a little bit to accommodate, and he was kind enough to cut into his, what I'm sure is super, super busy day to come on our happy little podcast. So we appreciate it a whole lot, Lucien. Let's give him a call. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
Well, hi there. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing really well, man. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this on such short notice. I really appreciate it.
I might as well. I've been doing enough interviews for the last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I know that you got your meeting in in an hour? Is that right?
In an hour.
Okay. And is that an online meeting, I'm guessing? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Google Chat, Google Hangout.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure that we get you out of here in time to get set up for that and give you some time in between to do whatever you need to do. But again, thank you very much for coming on the show again. Always good to hear your voice. How's everything going?
Oh, pretty mild, really. Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Not really even sure what we're going to talk about.
I don't know. From the way the press has been, it doesn't seem too mild.
No, not at all. In fact, since Monday at about 8 a.m., it's been nonstop for me and for other chapters.
So we wanted to call and talk to you about the after-school Satan Club. And
right. Well, I think this is the biggest Satanic Temple story to date, judging by the volume of calls and everything else. I don't think it's been this heavy before.
Really?
Yeah, even with the monuments.
Wow.
I wonder if maybe that media is a little bit primed because you've been on their radar before and rather recently that maybe I don't know.
Or is it the national aspect of
I
it?
think that's part of it. I think part of it is that now people largely expect that we will come through on what we're saying we're going to do because we do.
Yeah.
It's a good reputation to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're right to think so. We're fully prepared. We have a curriculum built. We have the volunteers. We're ready to go into the schools and we're ready to do this.
Yeah, this is awesome. So this is kind of in response to the Good News Club, right?
Yes, it's very much in response to the Good News Clubs, and we're there in the schools because of the Good News Club presence. And I was on some CNN subsidiary station today, debating it was supposed to be a debate with a representative from the Child Evangelism Fellowship, and the Child Evangelism Fellowship is the organization that masterminds the Good News Clubs. And it's the Liberty Council, the same organization that represented Kim Davis, the Kentucky County Clerk who wouldn't sign the gay marriage certificates. They've advanced their agenda to the point where schools really have no option but to let any religious group in to present their after-school clubs. And it's interesting, with the first Washington Post article, Washington Post reached out to the head of the Liberty Council was who they reached out to, and Matt Staver. And he said at that time, and this was just Sunday, that this printed, that we did have a First Amendment right to do what we were doing, which was consistent with his position on religious liberty overall. So you almost had to respect it. But just yesterday, the Liberty Council released a press release where he is saying, in fact, we have no right to go in and disrupt the schools, and that the Liberty Council will act pro bono on behalf of any of the school districts that are trying to fight to keep us out.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more like them.
Yeah. I don't think they anticipated that the story would get this big either. And we originally in our press release specifically thanked the Liberty Council for opening the door and allowing us into the schools. And I think they were probably suffering some backlash from that, along with that initial statement really kind of affirming our thank you there. And I think that didn't go well probably with their base.
Yeah. Are you getting a lot of the why do you hate religious freedom, or what's the harm in just letting them, practice their religion as, the way they see fit and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I think we made it very difficult. We prepared for this in advance, had our talking points all lined up, set up a website for it before anybody saw it coming. And so we've come up with a position that's really difficult to argue. And you can't really say what's wrong with religious liberty because that's what we're saying.
Right.
This is very much an expression of religious liberty. And to say that somehow it's not is just incorrect.
But so typically
religious liberty is this kind of government viewpoint neutrality that doesn't reject a claim of religion just based on the symbolic structure or whatever else.
I see. So typically though, it is that one-way street for them. It's Christianity or nothing. And I think it's interesting though how many times you guys have put them on the ropes or painted them into a corner on this kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see.
Oh, and now the Liberty Council at least has really laid their hypocrisy bare. Now they're quite openly not pushing for religious liberty, but for religious privilege for their definition of what is the appropriate religion.
Yeah, and the argument I've been seeing quite a bit coming out of the state of Utah is people are saying that you should not proselytize to children that young, and it's incorrect. And a lot of them don't know about the Good News Club and their whole goal of actually proselytizing to 5 to 12-year-olds. Or the fact that they've got nearly 3,560 Good News Clubs in public schools in the United States.
Right. And I've tried to stay on message every time I've done an interview. I've made very clear that this is in response to the Good News Clubs. And I make it very clear also that the presence of Good News Clubs isn't benign. It's not simply a club that's coming in saying, all right, we'll take the kids who want to come to this and sign the permission slips. I mean, that's the ideal for the after school clubs. People say it's not part of the school curriculum, and children will somehow know the difference, even though the permission slips and propaganda are being circulated throughout the school.
Right.
Which, that's bullshit as well.
Yeah.
But the Child Evangelism Fellowship is very open about their mission. If you look at their website, their goal is to train children to evangelize to other children and coerce them into coming to their way of religious thinking. And that's really deplorable. And along with those lessons, teaching these kids that they're sinners, that they'll burn in hell, that the wages of sin is death, and all that other superstitious bullshit. And I've been making clear in the interviews too that our actual curriculum for the After School Satan Club doesn't include items of religious opinion. We say nothing about the good news clubs within that curriculum. These are actually critical thinking games, puzzles, stories, art projects, that type of thing. Things that are appropriate for those ages of 5 to 12. And the curriculum was put together by one of our chapter heads in Los Angeles, working with the lead on the curriculum, who is Amy Monsky, who helped put together the Camp Quest curriculum for secular kids. So it's a very well thought out, well done curriculum. And we feel that just our presence alone as the Satanic Temple executing this after school club will make kids think differently of people who embrace the blasphemous. When they're being fed these ideas of hell and eternal damnation and torture, and they see people who self-identify as Satanists coming in and being productive, moral people that they can look up to, it gives the lie to that entire superstitious structure that they're being spoon-fed. So that's what I try to get across when people ask, well, wouldn't it be better if you called it the Science Club or the Humanist Club? No, I think there's actually a very positive message that comes with calling it After School Satan and it being executed by the Satanic Temple. We have no interest in preserving this idea of Satan as the symbol of ultimate evil. That's never been a constructive paradigm. It's always been destructive. It's always been something with which people have justified witch hunts, putting people in prison on false accusations. It's always been something by which we've created outgroups. And when people are forced to think about symbolic structures and how different tales, different symbols can mean different things to different people, and they're left to then judge people for what they know of their real actions in the real world, we will be living in a better place. So I'm losing patience on the question of wouldn't we be better off rebranding in a way that made the ignorant people more comfortable and forced people to think less. No, I think we'd be taking something vital away from this entire thing. And I think that's half of the fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've seen people do that. Why don't you call it all sorts of names like you were just saying? I'm like, no, that's not the point. This is part of the fight. The Satanist side of it is the part of the fight.
And why should we make ourselves more palatable to people in that what we feel is a very destructive mindset? Why should we allow people to go on feeling that anybody who self-identifies as a Satanist must necessarily be a homicidal maniac or whatever else? I mean,
or that they should change.
Panic, and it just is in recent history in the 80s and 90s, and we see just how these mythologies are still very destructive. And these are things worth questioning, and these are things worth shaking people up over and making them re-examine.
Well, yeah, and you shouldn't have to play into the religious narrative behind this. You shouldn't have to play into the Christian religious narrative behind it. You don't have to play by their rules. You don't have to allow them to define who you are or what you're doing. And by kowtowing.
Well, the thing is the CEF doesn't recognize the Catholic Church as legitimate Christians. And the most amazing thing happened to me today when I was talking to the representative from the Child Evangelism Fellowship.
Ominously named.
He insisted that I'm not a real Satanist, and it made me think, now what kind of world are we living in where the Child Evangelism Fellowship is accusing me of not being a Satanist? It's amazing.
Yeah, what did he mean?
Well, he meant that because it's a non-theistic viewpoint, where we're atheists masquerading as Satanists, because, you know, they're in the mindset that if you're not engaged in groveling worship of a literal deity, that you don't have religion, you don't have a moral structure, you don't have ethics, and you don't have anything, any basis for which to predicate your entire existence. It's just a very basic mindset.
I would be willing to bet that even if you could prove that, I mean, not that you do, but even if part of it for you guys was the groveling worship of Satan, he still wouldn't be willing to go as far enough to say that you have a moral system or a moral structure, because that's counter to.
Well, yeah, no, right, obviously, but the real point to me was that they are actually in a minority as far as Christians go in their evangelical fundamentalism, and I feel, of course, a lot of Christians would be disgusted knowing exactly what they believe. So to say we're not Satanists it doesn't mean much coming from an organization that doesn't recognize Catholic Church as Christian. I'm sure they don't recognize Mormons as Christian.
No.
And that should be a point being made in Utah. I know the idea of the after school Satan club is causing quite a stir in Utah, but I think if the Mormon community was aware of what the CEF really represents, they wouldn't be so quick to defend them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know how widespread is the CEF? Are they in all 50 states? Or the Good News Clubs?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, that they cover all 50 states. I mean, the fact that we have somewhere between 15 and 20 chapters now, I don't even know, and that we have 9 chapters already positioned to do this in this initial rollout, it says a lot for just how prevalent the Good News Clubs are. And, nobody's traveling a couple hours out to do this. This is just in their localities. Yeah. And since the news struck on Sunday, we've gotten flooded with emails, and we've gotten flooded with emails from people who claim they have degrees in education or their parents with kids in schools, and they want to help us establish after-school Satan clubs in their schools because they know the Good News Clubs are there. And it's not because they have a particular affinity for identifying with Satanism, but they understand what we're doing, and they've long been distressed at the presence of the Good News Clubs in their schools. And now we're getting these stories coming forward, these anecdotal stories of, people saying their daughter came home crying because these kids were trying to harass her into submitting herself to Jesus Christ and coming to the Good News Clubs and stuff like that. And this is the kind of shit the CEF is training kids to do in public schools. And this goes back to the 2001 ruling, a horrible ruling, I think. In the Supreme Court, it was the Liberty Council representing the Good News Club versus a school, Milford Middle School. Mm-hmm. And in that ruling, they decided they didn't look at it as an establishment clause issue as to whether you could have a religious group in schools. They turned it into a free speech issue and said you couldn't abridge the free speech of a private group coming in from the outside to do after-school clubs. And religious speech needed to be treated as any other type of speech, or else it was viewpoint discrimination, which I think is utter bullshit. You really can categorically deny things like religion and politics being presented in a partisan way. And in schools, they do that all the time. What you can't do is preference one point of view over another. If you say now that the after-school Satan clubs can't come in, but the Good News Clubs can, then you're dealing with viewpoint discrimination. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think now everybody has to re-examine this and determine what they're going to do, because they don't want us to get to even the first step of being able to distribute our permission slips throughout the schools, which is the position they're looking at right now. Now they have to consider how they're going to handle these requests.
So have you gotten any pushback from anybody who's actually tied to the school district? I mean, I know I've seen comments from a lot of, concerned parents or concerned Christians that Satan may have influence over their children, but has anybody at the actual school district level offered any pushback on any of this?
Some school districts have reached out and simply said, here's our usage of facility documents that you requested, because we did ask for those, and we want to be sure we're being treated in a way that conforms with their pre-existing conditions within the usage of facility standards. And we've had some say to the press that so far essentially there's nothing wrong with our request, and they're indicating that they have no grounds with which to turn us down begrudgingly. Tucson reached out to us, and they had their lawyer write to us, and she wrote that she wanted us to take their school and school district off of our website because the information was inaccurate. There is no after school Satan club operating in their school district, and we needed to get rid of this immediately. And I wrote her back immediately, and I told her that our website, in fact, says, and always has said, that their school district in that school is a place that we applied to present our curriculum. Therefore, our site was not in need of revision. And now we're also hearing from Tucson, and I think maybe one other school district, that they have a standard in which we need a faculty sponsor to be in the school. And we're looking at this, and that we don't think will fly legally. For one thing, we're probably going to ask them to assign us a sponsor, and if they don't, it might get legal from there, because in essence they would just be passing down our rejection down the chain, right. But it would still be a government employee saying, no, we don't want you represented here. I mean, you can't just simply say, okay, we're passing this down to the teachers or another member of faculty to decide whether you can come in here or not, because then it does become an establishment clause issue, because then you're preferencing the good news clubs and you're excluding us.
Essentially,
so we don't think that's going to fly, but Tucson's trying really hard to allay the fears of parents and put out this impression that they're going to easily keep us out of the schools, and that's not the case.
Yeah, I know that here in Utah, they have to have a faculty advisor as part of any after-school club, and that if nobody will step up to bat and volunteer, then the school is supposed to assign it to a teacher. And, that has led to some issues in the past where, of course, like the Gay Straight Alliance or any school clubs like that, where you may not have any faculty members who are necessarily open to supporting anything like that, or using any of their time in support of those clubs. They have a hard time finding a faculty member to do that. So then they just end up assigning it to somebody who has to begrudgingly do it, and then ends up, making it a really terrible experience for a lot of people who are involved.
Well, that's, I assume that that's what it has to be. That's the only legally sound option, is that they'll have to assign one. And that's why I think our next option will be, asking them to assign us somebody on the faculty. I think our first step might be actually reaching out and seeing if somebody will do it, because that's not out of the question. There's no shortage of messages we're getting from people in schools, saying that they want this at their schools. Whether they're willing to publicly stand up for it or not is a different story. They might feel that is going to have a negative impact on their career or whatever else. But I really don't see that as being legitimate grounds for them to keep us out. I think they're trying their hardest, and I honestly don't think that their legal counsel misread our website. I think their legal counsel was trying to intimidate us into taking their name and school off of the website, knowing full well that what we stated on the site was accurate, because I find it hard to believe that their ability to read that was so lacking.
Yeah, I'm sure it was just a shot across the bow to try to scare you into taking it down.
It's interesting how much attention Arizona wants from you all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. We are probably filing in Scottsdale because they just said we couldn't open with a prayer.
Right.
But in Phoenix, we were going to sue them, but because they had gotten rid of their prayers, and then they brought it back after our time passed, and they said, okay, now we have this kind of chaplain system in place where you need an approved chaplain to give your invocation or something like that, which we feel would definitely be a violation if a chaplain wouldn't represent us, from their chosen fire department or whatever else, and read our invocation. If they're reading the other invocations, they would need to be trained or whatever in the basics of what we're presenting, or they would be violating our rights. But in order for us to be able to press this suit actually and have standing, they would need to act upon their new policy. They would actually have to have somebody do this invocation through the chaplain policy before we could claim that we were denied.
Right.
And they haven't done that so far. So it looks like all of this was just kind of this blustering maneuver, this kind of cosmetic cry to battle, where some of the council people said, we're not standing up to this, and then they kind of silently let the issue go. So it looks like, in effect, we won Phoenix, but it could come up and be an issue at any time in the future.
Yeah, I know that the Granite School District here in Utah, where this is going to be put in place as one of the first schools at Vista Elementary.
Yeah.
The person running their social media account for the school has been doing a pretty excellent job of throwing in a little bit of humor here and there, and just being very open and answering a lot of questions, which I was honestly surprised to see that from somebody in a school administration here in Utah, but it was a welcome surprise.
Well, I haven't had the time actually to see what's been going on, and I haven't even had the time to look at the interviews that some of the chapter heads have been doing. I mean, it's just been so busy and it's been so slammed that I just haven't been able to keep up. So I would be interested in seeing that at some point, but it really does look like some of the school districts are going to say, okay, this is what you can do, and you're going to do it. And furthermore, it honestly looks like we will get students signing on for it too. It's hard to know how many messages are coming from any of the schools we've reached out to, but we've gotten so many messages from people saying that they would love to sign their kids up for this kind of thing. And that was actually kind of unexpected.
Yeah, I saw several comments from people here locally who were very much excited about the program coming to their school and wondering how they can sign up,
or wonder if it's coming to their school. Hey, when we have this at our school?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're planning to roll this out?
Yeah.
You're planning to roll this out to all the states?
The thing is, I don't want to overvalue this, but I feel like this will have a long-term effect on our culture, especially when people think about Satan and Satanism, and it has an effect for the better. And that's why I'm losing tolerance for that question of why wouldn't it be better if we called it something else? I think we're making so much progress in making people think differently about this very basic issue that I sometimes lose sight of the fact that of how even other atheist supporters or secularists can't see the value in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear those kinds of complaints. I was hearing those kinds of complaints about the Satanic Temple long before you guys started talking about the after-school Satan program. What kinds of, I think we talked a little bit about what kinds of things the kids will be learning. You said that Amy Monsky from Camp Quest has helped develop the curriculum for this.
Yeah. In that vein, there's basic science education projects, art projects, songs, book reading, that type of thing. And she's built a seasonal curriculum that goes along with each month, depending on, what weather and holidays take place at that time. I mean, it's really beyond reproach. If they're going to scrutinize the curriculum for problems, it would be hilarious to see them put our curriculum alongside the Good News Club curriculum and try to make ours out to be unfavorable compared to theirs. I mean, as this goes forward, I have high hopes that it will really underscore how ludicrous the entire argument is.
Yeah. So is any of the curriculum going to be tied or somewhat similar to like the big book of activities where, Satan was thrown in there every now and then? I mean, is the curriculum going to be very secular? Is it going to highlight or mention?
Oh, we could very well use that imagery.
Yeah.
But in the big book of activities, there's that imagery. There's pentagrams and things like that. But there is no satanic philosophy. There's no religious opinion beyond that. It's just part of the background ambiance of the imagery in there. And I think that just kind of goes along with showing kids that there's nothing to fear from symbols. There's you're still holding on to vestiges of superstition if you're going to argue with me that, no, it goes too far to do that. No, it doesn't. I saw an ignorant comment online where somebody was commenting after an article about this, saying that the whole Satan thing is similar to running a Hitler club to advance a respect for German history or something like that. And I was thinking, well, that analogy would only hold if Hitler hadn't actually existed, but hordes of people ever so often intermittently burned people at the stake for being Hitler, or sent them to prison on false accusations of being a Nazi in a world where Nazi Germany never took place. Then that stupid fucking analogy might have a little bit of relevance to what's going on here, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So how is this being funded?
Well, we're crowdsourcing on this one too, and that's a real kind of bizarre situation, because right now with all the press, we've raised around between 13 and 15 grand for this. And the thing is that might be a lot of money, because we're going to have printing costs. We'll likely have facility fees with the schools. We're going to get supplies for the clubs and that kind of thing. And in that case, even if it's just 9 chapters doing that's plenty of money. However, if we're fighting legal battles, which we probably will, and we have to get different legal representation likely in any district we need to fight a legal battle, and we do not get pro bono support, then that's no money at all. Mm-hmm. The 13 to 15 grand is nothing if that's the case. So we're either going to end up with an excess or just barely anything at all. So we set a goal of 40,000 on a crowdfunding page on the AfterSchoolSatan.com website. However, in this case, I was clear that if we end up in a situation where we get pro bono support or no resistance or whatever else, and we have excess funds, the rest of that could be migrated to the reproductive rights campaigns or whatever other campaigns we're doing to advance secularism or whatever. So in that way, it's unique in our campaigns, because the other ones, we definitely knew we'd need all those funds to go towards those campaigns. But we're being transparent about it, and we're being clear that we have no idea what the outcome on this could be.
Mm-hmm. So you say 13 to 15,000, and when was the campaign started?
It rolled out Sunday along with the Washington Post piece. We were working, we were speaking with Catherine Stewart, who wrote the Washington Post piece, of course, in advance of the piece coming out. So I knew the Washington Post piece would come out, and that would be, Washington Post coordinated to release the piece when we wanted to release our campaign. So it's been since Sunday.
Wow. So just a few days raising that much money. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. But it's been a huge amount of press. It's been more than I can keep up with, like I said.
Yeah, well, and again, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us here in Utah. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much.
So how is the prayer thing going? Have you accepted Jesus yet?
Oh, you mean Franklin Graham?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real honor. He prayed that, or actually he was asking everybody to pray, I think, that they could make me soft. And I know I tweeted like a smart ass that Satan could make me hard again.
Well, I just figure that, surely with thousands of Christians praying for one individual soul or one individual heart to be changed, that should happen like quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Jesus listens to tweets.
Yeah. You know what? We should really ask Franklin Graham what the timeline is here and when we can expect Jesus to act on it. I remember when we were doing the Black Mass event at Harvard, I got a message from some Catholic at the Divinity School saying that since we were insistent that we weren't using a consecrated host, nor were we actual Satanists, because Satanists, of course, are supposed to, in his mind, uphold this value of the power of the consecrated host. And naturally, some blessed cracker doesn't mean shit to us. And I asked him if he'd be willing to submit to an experiment in which we, take some consecrated hosts and take some non-consecrated hosts and mix them up and see if we can tell which is which by lightly insulting some, not too much so that we cause the apocalypse, but, that we have some predictable standard, like immediate bad weather or something like that. And, he didn't take up the offer on that kind of experiment.
Sure.
It's weird how he wouldn't do that. I mean, surely his God would show up and defend that, but
I thought they're supposed to test their faith all the time.
I don't know.
But that gets back to the value of having self-identified Satanists in the elementary schools where they're trying to sell hellfire and damnation. I mean, you're 5 to 12 years old is a confusing time. And the church, the Child Evangelism Fellowship, they know that. They want to target that age range because they've done the demographic reports. I mean, they post this stuff. This is in their materials. This is the age, according to them, where you can really beat superstition into somebody's head and get them guilty for life. Put the fear of God into them.
They're malleable.
Yeah. I forgot where I was going with that, but, So it led back to the original point somehow.
So you want to roll this out nationwide. I know that it's not being started at a school in every state in the nation initially. How were the first schools chosen?
Because they were, our current existing chapters look to see what was going on local to them, within reason for them to be able to carry this out, get volunteers to go there, and it not be too terribly much of a burden. And, 9 chapters found Good News Clubs operating that close to them in elementary schools that this was a worthwhile proposition for them that they could reasonably execute. So that's how it was chosen. We just had local representatives there willing to do this. But now we're going to be talking, of course, about what we're going to do with all these volunteer requests we have. And I see no reason why, if people have the resumes and the credentials that we can look at, and we'll run a criminal background check on everybody, that we can't give the curriculum over to them, give them the materials and let them do a after-school Satan club where they have Good News Clubs represented as well. And I think Staver is very much wrong from the Liberty Council. He made some comment recently where he felt that interest would fade away very quickly in this, that nobody would participate. If the messages we're getting are any indication that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it sounds like this will only grow.
Yeah. People are very enthusiastic for it, and it's just, it couldn't have rolled out better on our end. You never know with something like this. You never know how it's going to affect people, how big of a splash it's going to have in the media, if the media will generally stay on point or whatever else. And, I think we've done as good as we possibly could have with what we wanted to do with this campaign so far.
Well, and I think in today's day and age where so many kids are latchkey kids, you've got both parents working or a single parent with children who has to work a little bit later, where the kids get out of school and they're looking for something for kids to do, and providing something where they're learning great things, I think, is going to naturally draw a whole lot of attention. Like, you're going to get a whole lot of people. Oh, yeah,
and that's something that the Good News Clubs have always counted on. They love to be able to proselytize their kids who are just thrown into this because their parents needed them to be at school an extra hour afterwards and said, screw it, let them get some Bible learning or whatever. On the other side of that, I bet there's going to be parents who are saying, yeah, the Satanic Temple, I don't give a shit. Sounds like a fine program to me. I'll throw them in. I need them in school an extra hour rather than paying for daycare or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, we probably will have kids at these clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the latest with Gray Faction?
Gray Faction, I'm waiting. We're going to turn in our petition against Neil Brick, who is a a self-proclaimed former Illuminati super soldier who, under mind control, was forced to rape people and murder people. And now he's in charge of other people's mental health as a licensed counselor. We're going to turn in our petition to have his licensure examined at the end of this month. And we'll see how that goes. I got another letter from California about their investigation of Ellen Lachter, who is also a terribly delusional conspiracy theorist who we've tied to the death of an 8-year-old child. If anybody's not familiar with that, check out grayfaction.org, where we have all this material. But, you know, a lot of other projects were kind of pushed in the background a little bit for the purposes of working on the after-school clubs. But one thing that's going on with Gray Faction is that I'm in talks with a very professional and well-regarded documentary crew that's specifically interested in this whole idea of the Gray Faction and this narrative arc of the Satanic Panic from the 80s and 90s, producing the type of Satanist that I am and other people in the Satanic Temple are today, fighting against Satanic Panic narratives and kind of bringing the fight back to the witch hunters and bringing it full circle. So they see this kind of great narrative arc that they want to possibly do a feature-length documentary about. And I have high hopes for that project.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Well, I don't want to keep you too late. Where can people go to get more information about all of these different programs?
Well, our primary website is thesatanictemple.com, but the specific website for the After School Satan program is afterschoolsatan.com. And next week we should already have some of our merchandise in, the After School Satan t-shirts and that type of thing. And of course, you know, merchandise sales go towards our campaigns too. So check out shopsatan.com.
Well, Lucien Greaves of the Satanic Temple, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it, man. I know you're super, super busy, and I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us tonight.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. I will talk to you again soon.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, man.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Well, it sounds like I might need to get myself another t-shirt.
He's always good.
Yeah.
I dig that guy.
Someone posted on the I think it was Fox 13 news article about it. Like, that guy who runs the Satanic Temple, he used to be a part of this group, the Temple of Satanistic members, and he got kicked out because he was so extreme and all stuff. I'm like, whoa, buddy. I'm like, I've happened to have actually talked with the guy who runs the Satanic Temple a few times, and I can tell you, you are full of shit.
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Like, why don't you go to their website and do a little research on them? He has nothing to do with them, and it's also the Satanic Temple, not the Temple of Satan. And I'm like, you fucking...
Yeah, most people have no idea what they're talking about when you talk about the Satanic Temple. They get it confused with the Church of Satan.
Yeah, they use those interchangeably.
Yeah. Yeah, and so many people have had a negative experience with the Church of Satan that they hear the Satanic Temple or anything to do with Satanists, and they automatically tie it to the Church of Satan and say things like, Dan Finka, yesterday I was chatting with on his Facebook timeline because he had posted a story about the After School Satan Club, and said that, you know, ordinarily I don't much care for what the Satanists are doing, but this is pretty great. And I made a comment and just said, you know, well, what is it that you have a problem with or that you disagree with? Because I'm a huge fan of the Satanic Temple, and if there's something or some reason that I should not be, I'd like to know.
Like, they do a lot of really great stuff.
Yeah, and we had a little dialogue back and forth, and it was made clear that, he has it confused with the Church of Satan. And he said that he would go and do a little bit more research, and I'm sure that when he does, he'll find out that the Satanic Temple is an awesome organization that he should absolutely want to support. For more information, again, you can find links to all of these initiatives and programs that are being run through the Satanic Temple by visiting the satanictemple.com, where you'll find out more things about the Reproductive Rights Campaign, Gray Faction, and the After School Satan Club.
Yes.
Should be a whole lot of fun. I look forward to it.
Peace be with you. Yeah. Thanks for coming out, y'all. Ooh, boy. What a turnout. Well, it is a big day. Today, we answer mankind's most pressing question. Namely, what the hell's going on? Now, Preacher Custer here argues not only is there a God, he's going to call him down right into this room, and we're all going to talk to him. Ain't that right, Preacher Custer? Something like that. What I say, my position in all of this is that Preacher Custer, like every single preacher, priest, and holy man since the dawn of time, is full of shit. The only true God, the only real God, is the God of meat.
Well, what else we got on deck tonight?
If you want to do this thing here, which is pretty fucking funny, we got, I don't know what's going on right now.
I don't know what's going on right now.
I thought you were giving him an opportunity to provide a lead-in to the next.
Oh, we are.
Story.
John Cleese has got his own new church he's starting up.
What?
Yeah.
I like John Cleese.
Church of J.C. Capitalists.
Who's John Cleese?
Oh.
From the
another
Monties of
JC
the Python.
church?
Oh, yeah. Well, John Cleese. J.C.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, no, J.C. John Cleese.
Only John Cleese can have those.
Yeah,
JFC.
I guess so. Sorry, I wasn't
Jeez,
informed.
Meg.
John fucking Cleese, man.
He's Monty Python, the Faulty Towers.
Basil
John
Fawlty?
Cleese. He's awesome.
He patented a walk.
Yes.
He has his own walk.
Really?
Meg doesn't know that. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Will you show us?
Walk. I'll find a video of it. I could probably do it.
You kind of lift your leg up
Drink
high,
while you're
stretch it out in
I
front.
probably do the John Cleese
With your-
walk when I'm super
with your
drunk.
back. Yeah, you got to be like kind of all crooked backwards,
Oh,
legs
that
out.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, he has his own walk. All right, so this is the John Cleese Church of J.C. Capitalist.
Here is an important announcement. We've decided to found a church on this website because we believe that even if we save just one solitary soul from eternal torment, then the founding of this church will have been worthwhile, especially as it gives us huge tax advantages. Now, we're going to call ourselves the Church of J.C. Capitalist, because here in the United States of America, Christian teaching is, of course, the cornerstone of the capitalist system. Televangelists in particular setting a fine example to us all in the accumulation of great personal wealth and illustrating the worldly rewards that real faith can bring us if we are truly humble and have good marketing skills. Now, people have said to me quite critically that Christ spoke a lot about the poor. So, what is our church doing about them? Well, as Christ himself so rightly said, blessed are the poor. So they're all right. They will get their reward in heaven. No need to worry about them. Now, the Church of J.C. Capitalist is founded on two sacred principles. One, our focus groups tell us to target very anxious people with weak egos who are desperate for certainty. So, this church will be very authoritarian, telling our members exactly what to think and to do, and we guarantee to make them positively glow with self-confidence because anyone at all who disagrees with us will go to hell and be tortured with red-hot, pointy things forever and ever. Amen. And the second principle is morals are only about sex. So, send money now. Inquire about different levels of membership. And remember, a one-time gift of $10,000 guarantees you entry into heaven with one special guest of your own choice, plus a beautiful framed certificate to that effect, signed by me. Join now.
He makes a sign of a dollar sign. Did you notice that that's what was on the
crucifix
cross around his neck? Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
I like that. I hadn't seen that. Was that?
That was. I think it just came out this past week.
Huh. July 28th.
Yeah, I didn't actually go to his website to find out if he did make a website or if he's just mocking religion again.
I like that. I like John Cleese a lot. He's one of my favorites of the Monty Python crew.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best that's still around, I think.
He's very funny. They're all very funny.
Yeah.
I like him. I like him in particular. I always have.
I wouldn't mind seeing Spam-A-Lot.
Spam-A-Lot?
Yeah.
You wouldn't mind seeing Spam-A-Lot?
Yeah, I would like to go see it.
Yeah. That's their
play. Yeah.
Is it based on the Holy Grail?
I'm not sure if it's based on the Holy Grail, but I know they wrote it.
Yeah.
It's not them in the touring show of it. I guess they only did a performance of it themselves, like, once.
Yeah.
And they broadcast it live, which I know you can buy on DVD.
Huh. I was not aware of that.
Yep.
I'll have to check it out.
We would like to know.
How dare you question your God? How dare you?
How dare you? You can't shout at us like that. We're the ones should be screaming, you sick stuck-up. And you made a baby cry. Told you the white guy.
What else you got, Matt?
I got a thing.
Okay.
You got more shit-nanigans?
I do.
Shit-nanigans?
Yeah.
I thought you said shit-matigans for some reason.
That might be a good way to say it.
So this could probably easily become a new segment. I'm going to do half of it now. I'll do half later, but because it's so easy to find material for. They're a bunch of tiny stories that I would never otherwise bring to the show.
Yeah.
That don't particularly relate to atheism per se, except that they're all a demonstration of what a fucking asshole God is.
Okay, I'm kind of excited about this.
All right. God's an asshole. Alexander Peter Kirk met a woman online and really fell for her. After 2 months chatting to his dream woman, Kirk decided he couldn't wait any longer and had to meet her in real life.
This is sad.
The 41-year-old Dutchman flew almost 3,000 miles to an airport in China where he waited for her for 10 days.
He was being catfished?
She didn't show up. In fact, Kirk's wait for his love interest would have been longer, but he was hospitalized for exhaustion. He's a diabetic.
Yeah.
And God's an asshole. Henry Bromberg from Deerhurst in Gloucestershire suffered from hypoplastic left heart syndrome, a rare condition meaning that only one side of his heart functioned.
Oh, okay.
Despite undergoing 38 operations, including 3 open heart surgeries, and regularly using 24 medications.
24?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
The boy nicknamed Half-a-Heart Henry.
Oh, that's nice of his friends.
Died at age 9.
Aww.
He wanted to be a doctor.
Not gonna happen.
An asshole. A young girl named Karina. Is this an uplifting segment?
This is great.
A young girl named Karina films her mother setting a butterfly she's watched grow from a caterpillar free from a net.
No.
She even gives words of encouragement from behind the camera, shouting, "Go to your nature place." The butterfly takes off.
Don't go there.
And 5-year-old Karina bids it a fond farewell before a previously unseen bird swoops down and picks it off.
It's almost as bad as the rabbit one.
Ha ha. The butterfly is no more, and God's an asshole.
Fuck you, God. It's a beautiful butterfly.
I was just trying to teach her a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's a dick.
Sometimes life is difficult.
I hate butterflies. Jack, the Yorkshire Terrier, who hit the headlines in 2015 when he reached the age of 25, was killed this morning after being locked in the jaws of a Lakeland
25-year-old dog?
That's
Jesus.
old. What was he locked in the jaws of?
A Lakeland Terrier.
Oh.
The incident took place along the marina of Hartlepool when Jack who's 117 in dog years, was waiting to have his leash put on by owner Ray Bunn. Mr. Bunn said out of nowhere the black terrier raced over and bit the elderly pet on the side. Mr. Bunn says that he fought for little Jack's life for 3 minutes by punching the other dog, but it would not let go. God's an asshole.
Fucking
I was just wailing on this other fucking dog, but...
Are these pretty good? Or?
That dog had lived a long life. It was probably
that dog
time.
should have went out in his doggy bed.
Yeah.
Let me do a couple more, and then if we don't want to pick it back up, that's fine. Meg's grimacing.
I'm gonna need a hug after this.
According to Chief Ralph Melton with Currituck Fire and EMS, The boy and his family were preparing to go back into their vehicle after spending time at the beach, WNCN reported. As the boy and his father were getting into the car, the boy was struck by lightning.
Whoa.
The child suffered burns from a lightning strike and went into cardiac arrest. The family put the boy into their SUV and met EMS part way. He was taken to the hospital where he died. God's an asshole.
I just have one question. Does no one die in any of these?
I don't think so.
Oh.
These are all about death, Ryan.
So God really is an asshole.
But that's part of life.
Yeah.
Well, fuck that part of life.
The very last part of it.
Unless you're religious, then you can skip that.
That's the middle bit.
Yeah. Larry the Lobster gained fame after it was spared from a boiling pot in Florida, but Maine officials say the crustacean did not make it to retirement. Officials say the decades-old 15-pound lobster succumbed during its journey from the Sunrise, Florida restaurant to the Maine State Aquarium. The staff at the aquarium in West Booth Bay Harbor unpacked the lobster and found it dead on Wednesday. A rescue group had stepped forward to save the lobster after the restaurant owner called a TV station in Florida last week to show off the lobster's unusual size. It was estimated to be between 60 and 110 years old.
Holy fuck.
God's an asshole.
It was how old again?
Between 60 and 110.
They packed it on ice to send it.
They did.
That doesn't
They
sound...
wouldn't put it in salt water. They put it on
I think there was
ice.
salt water in there too.
Really?
I would hope there was salt water.
I
Otherwise,
saw that.
Otherwise, I'm going to ship you human from Florida to Maine with no oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought you put them on ice to keep them fresh-ish after they were dead.
Right.
To eat them.
Right.
Maybe the
Want to
restaurant...
make sure it doesn't start rotting by the time it gets to wherever it's going.
I think in that one, maybe the restaurant was the asshole because they forgot, you didn't want to eat them, you wanted to preserve.
Oh, right. Shit. Fuck. Damn it.
Not eat.
I feel like such an ass. My bad, y'all.
I always mix up eat and live.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry, guys. That was my fault. Totally forgot.
I thought the aquarium wanted a big dinner.
We were getting blazed in the parking lot. I fucking totally blew it off, man. Fucking shit, man. Sorry.
Too many bath salts and Zika virus. I'm a zombie.
So sorry. Yeah.
Are these a hit or are these like?
I like them.
I like them.
Okay, one more, and then we'll come back.
Does someone die?
God's an asshole.
Florida has confirmed 10 more homegrown cases of Zika in people infected by local mosquitoes, leading federal health officials to advise women who are pregnant or considering becoming pregnant to avoid the area just north of downtown Miami, where Zika is spreading.
This is almost your plan, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, this will be another part of one of Ryan's things. He's going to say that he does not mean to be taken seriously whatsoever. But I believe a combination of Zika virus and bath salts in Florida will create the zombie apocalypse.
That's probably true.
We'll solve so many problems.
Bunch of pin-headed zombies.
Yeah. That was
Matt's
mean.
an asshole.
That was pretty insensitive.
The new cases bring the number of Zika infections spread by local mosquitoes as opposed to foreign travel to 14. Now 14 individual cases of local Zika in Florida.
Wow.
There's also
God's
one
an asshole.
case here in Utah where it's believed the person contracted it after coming in contact with someone who already had the Zika
They
virus.
were the caretaker.
Yes.
Yep.
So there's at least one case known where it's transferred from a human to another human
Without sexual contact.
Yes.
Oh.
As far as
they said.
As far as they're admitting to.
Caretaker in air quotes.
Uh-huh.
We know what they take care of.
All right, we can move on. I'll come back.
Give all the happy endings.
I'll come back to the rest later.
Look at us down here. Hearts full of greed, hate and doubt. Sin is winning and you're losing. So if we are your children, why don't you act like a father? Take some time out of your busy schedule and answer some goddamn questions.
So, Ben Sleepy Time Carson was woken from his
coffin,
from one of his many naps, to step forward and say that the Kazir family should apologize to Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is...
If you can wrap your fucking mind around that.
Wait, who? The Khan family?
The Khan family should apologize to Donald Trump. Not the other way around. Not Donald Trump apologizing for mocking a Gold Star mother.
Yeah.
But but that they should apologize to him.
Hey, Trump has made it perfectly clear. He doesn't like trapped, captured, or killed
Muslims.
Soldiers.
Oh, soldiers.
I think he likes all of the killed Muslims.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that may be part of this.
So he doesn't hate Muslims. He likes all of them that are dead.
He likes all the dead ones, yeah. I love Osama bin Laden.
America. What did you think of Donald Trump's reaction to that Muslim American family who lost a son, Captain Khan, who died fighting for the United States in Iraq back in 2004? What did you think? What was your reaction to Donald Trump's statements in the aftermath of what those grieving parents said?
Well, obviously, any family who loses service members are people for whom we should have great sympathy. And certainly I feel very much for those families. Recognize that they are grieving, and very often, they will say and do things out of that grief. I think we should just give them a pass and move on. And, I'm hopeful that
we should give them a pass and move on. Give them a pass from what?
Yeah.
What the fuck did they do wrong?
Nothing.
We should give them a pass for doing what, Ben fucking Carson?
Having a son who gets killed, Dan.
As time goes on, everybody on both sides of the aisle will simply adopt a position that we're not going to make these the issues. We're going to talk about the real issues that affect America. I can't get that point across enough. People, all of us, Americans, we have some real serious issues here. If our founders had gotten caught up in all these little things and not dealt with the big issues, we wouldn't even have this country today.
Should Donald Trump apologize to those parents?
I think, should clearly move on. I don't think it would be harmful if, they apologize to him and he apologized to them, but I don't see that happening.
You don't need to see them apologizing to him, and of course you don't see Donald Trump apologizing to them because he's a fucking asshole.
Why should they apologize to him?
Well, for one thing, if you accuse someone of something that's not true, it usually is a reasonable thing to acknowledge that.
What did they accuse him of?
Nothing. But Trump can accuse people of shit all the time.
Yeah, Trump
does that all the
Donald
time.
fucking Trump accuses people. Donald fucking Trump accuses people of doing shit all the time that never fucking happen.
He accused the father of not letting the mother speak because they were Muslim.
Yeah.
Right.
So what you would like to see is an apology from those parents? Is that what you're saying?
I would say, rather than make this a one-sided issue, why don't we all just say, back off a little bit? We have such important issues to deal with. And, let's just call a truce.
But it is a one-sided issue. You've got Donald Trump being a fucking cunt about this.
Fucking Trump.
You've got Donald fucking Trump being a fucking cunt about this. It is a one-sided issue. He's a gigantic fucking asshole.
Well, I think the real issue that Ben Carson is worried about is where his fucking pillow went. 'Cause it's nap time.
And the best way to call a truce is simply to say, I'm over that. You're over that. I'm sorry I said this. If it offended you, the other side.
I'm sorry I said that if it offended you. Otherwise, fuck off.
Yeah, I don't care.
If it didn't offend you, then I'm not sorry about it at all.
Is it illegal in this country to offend someone?
Ben Carson doesn't know how a fucking apology works.
He has no idea what they're talking about.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Has no fucking clue.
Yeah, Carson always seems that way.
Sure.
He never seems to know what's going on.
That's why
he's really hard to listen to if you have ADD, by the way. Like, I can't
get
focus.
To the point, buddy. Come on.
He's really hard to listen to if you have ears.
He's
True.
a walking Xanax advertisement.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
I'm sorry if it said that, because that's not our issue. Our strength as a nation is through unity. It's not through division. Division will destroy us. A house divided against itself.
Like a house that would build a fucking wall on its border.
Yep.
A house that would say that people of a certain faith cannot come into the country.
Yep.
That's not divisive.
No.
Or a country that espouses a two political party system.
Yeah. Not divided at all. Fucking moron.
Cannot stand. That's what we need to be concentrating on, not these peripheral issues that don't mean anything. We just seem to be addicted to things that don't mean anything.
Yeah, the grief of these parents means fucking nothing. Donald Trump mocking them means fucking nothing.
Yeah, the sacrifice of Captain Khan means nothing.
Yeah. Fuck you, Ben Carson.
Why do bad things happen to good people?
Ah, yes. You see, when I created humanity, I wanted you to have everything. Joy, hope, love, but also pain. Everything that makes you a person. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Good.
But why?
You had your turn. What did you do to the dinosaurs?
I have some uplifting things.
Do you?
Whoa.
No, I don't.
You haven't had one uplifting thing all night.
That's true. I thought those would be doing better.
No, they're funny.
As I was going through them, I'm
funny.
like, oh, this is going to be awesome.
No,
I got here and Ryan's welling up with tears and everyone's looking around the room and wondering if I'm for real.
I just thought the dog story was sad. That's like 3 marriages. Like, that's a long ass time.
And that butterfly, everybody hears the story
3 marriages.
You become the beautiful
Who stays
butterfly.
married for like 25 years. That's
yeah, I guess that's true.
That's a long
Meg's
period.
like, I'm talking this 7-year itch could have happened at least 3 times during that 25-year period.
That's true.
And I care way more if a dog dies than a person generally.
Depends on the person.
And the dog.
I suppose.
But generally, dogs are better, yeah.
Unconditional
Dog
love.
stories make me sadder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's why you caught me in that.
Dogs are better people.
No, I was saying Ryan was tearing up.
Right, but you were like, she's grimacing. I'm like, oh, poor
but I can't,
dog dying that way.
I love Turner and Hooch, but I can't watch it.
Oh,
Turner
I can watch
Hooch?
it. That's like not real.
That's not a very sad one.
No. That's not my point at all.
When that,
what about Marley and Me?
When that dog sacrifices himself for Tom Hanks at the end of the movie, that's fucking sad. Tom Hanks had a good relationship with that dog, that slobbery old man's dog from the dock.
That dog fucked a lot of shit up, man.
Yeah, that was part of the love process. But in the end, that dog was love.
Uh-huh.
He lost it.
Oh. Well,
I don't know where this is going.
You want to do more Gods and Asshole, or you got something else, or what do you want to do?
I got a couple of other stories if you want.
Okay.
This one's actually pretty interesting. I think you will like this one, although I've been wrong before today. Christians working in Greece's most notorious Asylum Detention Center have tried to convert some of the Muslim detainees who've been held under the terms of the EU-Turkey migration deal. On at least 2 occasions in recent months, aid workers have distributed conversion forms inside copies of Arabic versions of the St. John's Gospel to people held at the Moria detention camp on Lesvos.
As you do.
Yeah.
The forms invite asylum seekers to sign a statement declaring the following, quote, I know I'm a sinner. I ask Jesus to forgive my sins and grant me eternal life. My desire is to love and obey his word, close quote. Because, of course, the Christians have carefully considered the situation and decided that they'd enjoy being treated in this way were the rules reversed. This is definitely not an abuse of power over a captive audience.
No, not at all.
Muslim asylum seekers who received the booklet said they found the AIDS workers' intervention insensitive.
You think? Just
Quote,
a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Quote, it's a big problem because a lot of the people are Muslim, and they have a problem with changing their religion, said Muhammad, a detainee from Damascus.
Why would that be a problem?
I mean, the Native Americans loved it.
Yeah. They were trying this during Ramadan, the holiest Muslim month. A second
That's
Syrian,
not insulting.
Ahmed, said, quote, we like all religions, but if you're a Christian and I give you a Quran, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Well, if you were a good Jesus lover, you probably wouldn't have found yourself in this situation in the first place.
But of course, trying to point out the double standard to Christians was a vain attempt at getting them to see any other viewpoint, not something with which they excel. Detainees allege that the forms were distributed by at least 2 representatives of Euro Relief, a Greek charity that became the largest aid group active in Moria, after other aid organizations pulled out in protest against the EU-Turkey deal. The camp is overseen by the Greek Migration Ministry, but aid groups perform most of the day-to-day management. Euro Relief said it disapproved of the distribution of conversion materials, but added it could not rule out the possibility that individual aid workers had distributed the booklets themselves.
We disapprove. We're just not going to do anything to change.
Yeah, if they do it on their own, fucking who cares?
Yeah. Day to day, really, we don't really approve of it, but we don't really disapprove of it either. So
yeah, I mean, what are they going to do?
What are you going to do?
It's the go fuck yourself policy.
Yeah. Euro Relief's director, Stefanos can't pronounce, said, I have already taken action so that our volunteers know very well that they should not distribute any kind of literature. Our code of conduct says clearly that this is something they simply cannot do, and if somebody does, we're going as an organization to take disciplinary actions.
In the
but of course,
future.
Yes, but of course they still have
future.
not done anything about the ones that have happened. So
yeah, going forward, we may do something about this.
Mm-hmm. We have things set in place, and in case something like this ever happens again.
Again, maybe the third time we'll do something, but then maybe we'll think about it.
Here follows a public service announcement for the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast. Greetings, Americans. Over here in London, we are well aware that not all of you are loud, xenophobic, racist, sexist, religious nuts.
But many of your politicians who display these frightful traits seem to be quite popular.
Particularly a certain wall-obsessed, small-handed, best-word-using, daughter-perving, war-inciting, candy-floss-headed clown.
To those of you who choose to follow such balderdash, we strongly recommend not to listen to the Two Skeptical Chaps.
It probably won't be your cup of tea.
Otherwise, give us a listen.
Each episode, we cover any news or current affairs from across the globe.
Things that annoy or delight us.
That's 2 as in the number 2.
And skeptical with a K.
The wrong way to spell it. Cheerio.
So I have this clip of Donald Trump accepting this.
Oh, the
Donald fucking Trump.
His veteran's Purple Heart. And I'm just going to play this.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the best clip all night.
Best woods.
You know, something very nice just happened to me. A man came up to me and he handed me his Purple Heart.
Aww.
Now I said to him, is that like the real one or is that a copy?
Because I don't want a copy.
And he said, that's my real Purple Heart. I have such confidence in you. And I said, man, that's like big stuff.
That's like...
I always wanted to get the Purple Heart.
Why?
This was much easier. But I tell you, it was such an honor. And maybe I can bring him up on the stage, Lieutenant Colonel Louis Dorfman.
And he has to read it off the podium.
I always wanted to Purple Heart, and this is so much easier.
Just having a wounded veteran. Give me one. And photo op.
Uh-huh.
I bet that guy just asked, can I touch your hair? I just want to know what it's made of.
Is that really candy floss on top of your head?
Yeah.
How rude
So I said,
for him to
Lieutenant Colonel,
accept
would
that.
you like to say something?
Yeah, for him to not say no, I can't
I
take
couldn't
that.
possibly accept
this.
something like this.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the podium and you say, hey, let's hear it for our troops and Lieutenant Colonel Dorfman.
Yeah.
Even I was able to remember his name after one go.
As I shove his Purple Heart in my pocket.
And he didn't give you a Purple Heart.
Why don't you come up here on stage? Now, this guy represents the troops for whom we're all very proud.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Move on.
Yeah.
And give the heart back then.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. You don't accept it.
Yeah.
I think that was a critical moment that people listening probably didn't. As he walked back from talking to the Lieutenant Colonel, he pocketed the Purple Heart. You could see him pocket it right into his coat.
Yeah, threw it right into his coat pocket.
He goes, no, sir. I'd like you to just keep saying what you've been saying.
No, nobody's saying. Well, actually, we're saying that.
What a gigantic fucking asshole.
I like when he quotes people, they talk exactly how he does. I have such confidence in you.
I have such confidence.
Oh, yeah.
You have all the best words, Donald Trump. Honestly,
you really are terrific. I was thinking it, and then I met you and confirmed. You're terrific. Amazing.
You had the best words.
Fantastic guy.
Unbelievable. You're tremendous.
Excuse me. I have one last question. You're not God, are you?
I am the Alpha and the Omega.
No, you're not.
I am the bright morning star.
I just saw you picking your nose.
No, my son, I was scratching it.
You're an imposter.
I am the Lord, your God.
You're not God.
Yes, I am, Jesus.
We have a Satanist opens a city council meeting.
In Florida.
With an invocation. David Suhor from the Satanic Temple delivered a unique invocation after several minutes of protester disruption at a Pensacola City Council meeting on July 14. Want to hear about it? Here we go.
We'll call this council meeting July 14, 2016 to order. At this time, we will have an invocation by David Suhor. This will be followed by a Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice President Brian Spencer.
So at this point, he's coming up to the podium, getting ready to read his stuff, and everybody's standing up, pulling out their Bibles.
People are objecting already.
And they're praying over him.
They're praying over him now.
Yeah.
As he's just standing there.
A whole room full of fucking cowards.
Standing there.
People who are fucking terrified of this man giving a satanic invocation.
Yes.
Yep. So scared that they're all standing up and trying to shout over him.
Yeah.
They're trying to get their spell out there first.
Yeah. He's just calmly standing there. They're raising their arms in the air like they're
cloak sleeves.
Yep. Two minutes later,
yeah.
Yeah, he said, I'll be here all day.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to at least keep it to a low volume?
No, he's going to pronounce curses on us and you.
Then I'm going to
He's going to have curses on us.
So that he can give his invocation.
Mr. President, may I be allowed to speak?
I can clear the chambers if I like. I don't want to have to do that.
So they had to have authorities come in and remove the disruptive protesters.
Yeah, all this religious freedom that they love so much.
And now, unbowed and unfettered, by arcane doctrines, born of fearful minds in darkened times, let us embrace the Luciferian impulse to eat of the tree of knowledge and dissipate our blissful and comforting delusions of hope. Let us demand that individuals be judged for their concrete actions, not their fealty to arbitrary social norms and illusory categorization.
So he turned and he was basically talking to one of the people who was there protesting, right? And
he was just sort of singing in that direction.
Yeah, and conforming to social norms. And someone else in the crowd here grabbed him and turned him back around.
I'm sure that's security.
I think it's security, yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Because the guy's in a suit standing there. I would have, don't put your fucking hands on me, motherfucker.
I think he was there to keep order.
Yeah.
By putting his hands on somebody?
Yeah.
Well, if he's a cop.
Saying, hey, well, turn to the mic, talk to the mic, not the people.
It is done.
Thank you for not interrupting.
Yeah, I don't know if that guy was security. Because he wasn't, he didn't have a badge. He didn't.
Secret Service.
He was in a suit.
No one in the crowd was wearing suits, though.
Secret security.
Yeah, nobody in Florida has a suit. So.
Except for secret security.
Super secret security. Double stamped and triple stamped.
Fucking A, right.
But yeah, I thought that was.
Yeah.
It had somebody grabbed me like that, and it wasn't a gentle, it wasn't a, hey, you should turn around. He grabbed him and
stand in line.
Stand in line. Him around.
Yeah, like security would.
Yeah.
I think he was security.
I think so too.
Do you have security at city council
When
meetings?
the Satanists show up, they bring security.
Yeah, they already showed uniformed police officers walking
escorting
through.
people out.
Well, that was uniformed police officers.
Yeah,
wouldn't they just have uniformed police officers?
I think the uniformed police officers were all in the hallway.
You wouldn't have somebody in plain clothes as security when you've got police officers there.
But then if he has a badge on, he's not super secret double stamp security.
He didn't have a badge on though.
But
He might have had it on his belt. Maybe he's
Yeah.
a detective or something.
Yeah. Detective James.
They called in backup for this.
Cops don't wear
I need some
suits.
backup. I have a man in a dark robe chanting at a city council meeting.
Well, what about the building security? The officers that protect the senators or the city council or whoever.
They're
the
super
fuck was
secret
there.
double stamped.
Why weren't they the people leading out the protesters
Because those
instead
are the
of
cops.
officers?
That's that because the PM.
They are officers.
They are.
But I'm saying I don't think that guy was security.
Okay.
I think he was just some asshole.
All right.
I don't know. Where is he? I don't know. None of us do. He's missing. God, he's missing. We don't know where he is. Maybe he's down there. We don't know. Guys, he made me say that. That preacher, he made me do it. Guys, he can't. He's missing. God, this is gone.
Well, I think we're at the end though tonight.
No, we're not. I have
no.
more
We
stories.
still have Katrina.
Well, but the thing is I'm trying to add up all the different times we got going on the things.
No, we got Katrina. We got to do Katrina Pierson at least.
Okay,
and Matt has to do. Well, no, we didn't. We were sandwiching the Trump stuff. Do you have something else very fun that you would like to do tonight?
God's an asshole.
Okay. Yes, he is.
Should I just finish that?
Yes.
I could save it. It's not time sensitive.
Okay. You want to save it? You can add more
How
to
long is
your
it?
God's an asshole list.
It's not that long.
You could just add more. We can make it a thing.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Do you have something else?
This one's semi-interesting.
Oh, well then.
You'll be.
I'm semi-interested.
Dan's got a semi.
Perfect. Jerusalem. Exquisite mosaics depicting biblical scenes. So they say.
My favorite kind of scenes.
Yeah. You and your brother.
Yeah. By scenes we mean porn, right?
Very biblical.
Very biblical scenes.
One of Noah's Ark, the other, the parting of the Red Sea, were uncovered by archaeologists. Jesus Christ. Archaeologists.
So moving on.
Read, bro.
Excavating a 5th century synagogue at Hukok, an ancient Jewish village. Hooks.
Okay.
Yeah, Huskok.
Near the Sea of Galilee. A consortium of universities led by Jody Magnus of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill uncovered the mosaics during its 5th annual excavation in June. Magnus said the mosaics, what?
I was going to say, why didn't they get it in the first annual?
Because it takes a long time to get that deep.
Oh, yes, it does.
Got to dig some shit out,
Go
man.
slow. The mosaics, like others discovered at the synagogue since 2012, are of extremely high artistic quality, based on their artistry and the high number of stone mosaic cubes used in the design.
It's not just stick figures.
No, nope. Wasn't done by a kindergartner in art class.
Huh. Nope. The Noah's Ark mosaic includes pairs of bears, donkeys, leopards, camels, lions, ostriches. They go on and on and on.
T-Rex.
Just as described in the book of Genesis.
Do they list all of the kinds?
Many of them. And they appear in the mosaic just as described in the book of Genesis. Checkmate, atheists. The mosaic of the parting of the Red Sea features Pharaoh's soldiers drowning with their horses and chariots. Quote, of course, the story of Noah's Ark and the parting of the Red Sea were known to the Jews, as well as Christians at the time, because they read the Hebrew Bible, Magnus said.
Yeah.
We have other ancient synagogues where these scenes are depicted, though they are not common in synagogue art. As our site conservator, Orna Cohen, worked methodically to brush away the dirt, little by little, we all stood around and began to see animals. At some point, we realized this was a depiction of Noah's Ark. So they're kind of guessing.
Well, I mean, they got a boat,
yeah,
and animals, and they got a biblical story. I mean, it's like saying I got a painting of Reservoir Dogs in my house. Does that mean Reservoir Dogs actually happened?
No. Yeah, of course.
No, yeah.
No.
Deciphering the second mosaic was harder, Magnus said. Quote, we could see little bits of pieces of people, fish, chariots. We all stood around and guessed whether the mosaic depicted a biblical story, and if so, which one.
It was probably just soldiers fishing.
To which story can we fit this in as part of our narrative?
Yeah.
Yep. Then she says, quote, I won the parting of the Red Sea guess-a-thon.
Oh.
She said with a laugh.
This is some good science.
Mm-hmm.
Or archaeology.
Yeah. But the Red Sea mosaic features a twist on the biblical story.
Ooh.
A large fish swallowing Pharaoh's soldiers.
Well, that's the fish story.
Jonah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But rather than being wrong, of course, she says, this represents an elaboration on the very real and historical story that must have been circulating at the time.
Gotcha.
Oh. They were just adding stuff onto the real story.
I wonder if it was a catfish.
Yes.
Because there's that strange legend that a giant catfish lives underneath Japan, and that's what causes earthquakes.
I'm not familiar with catfishes.
Catfish? Catfish.
Catsfish.
Catsfish? I've never seen a catfish.
I've seen people catches fishes.
Catches cats with finches?
With their fist.
Oh, now Dan's fisting.
Cast finches.
They go and fist fishes cats.
Dan's got a semi and he's fisting.
Perfect.
And he's catching.
Well, he's catching as well. Yeah. He's catching finches. This will undoubtedly become another piece of flimsy evidence used by the Christians to prove the Bible, rather than understanding that these were made because of the Bible and that the stories don't quite match. There's also the issue of guessing what the mosaic is about after assuming it's got to be something in the Bible. So there you go.
You know what? I think 100% it's got to be.
Has to be. So which story best fits the picture we're looking at?
Presuppositional archaeology.
Yeah. Oh, man.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrevolution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the twatter at TGI Podcast. Thanks, bitches.
So last up tonight we have
the
Katrina
smartest
Pierson.
woman alive.
This is Donald Trump's aide. She works for the Donald Trump campaign, of course. This is the same woman who months ago
had the fetus necklace, the bullet necklace.
Yes, yeah. But she's also the same woman who, was it the National Enquirer, was pushing out rumors that
she was
Ted
sleeping.
Cruz had an affair with so many different women, and she was one of the women identified in that has not been proven to bear out to be true.
Yeah. He didn't become president, so they swiped him underneath the rug.
I doubt it much. But here is Katrina Pierson trying to explain away a lot of the bullshit that has been happening on the Trump campaign over the last few days.
Katrina, do you want to apologize to Mr. Khan?
Apologize for the timeline. What I was talking about is the fact that Donald Trump has no connection to anything having to do with Captain Khan, who was a brave war hero. The timeline is very simple and true, Allison. Hillary Clinton voted for the war in Iraq. She did not support the surge. Barack Obama made things worse by invading more countries than President Bush did.
He did? No!
Oh!
President Obama has not invaded any countries.
But she said he did.
More than Bush did.
More than Bush did.
So as bad as Bush is, Obama's way worse, obviously.
Uh-huh. And clearly, this is all Hillary Clinton's fault anyway.
Yeah, of course.
The rules of engagement and got tens of thousands of soldiers that were killed.
Tens of thousands of soldiers killed.
But wait,
I don't believe the United States has lost tens of thousands of soldiers.
I thought we only lost about 4,000 troops.
Look at the faces of everybody else.
They're all just like,
disbelief.
Is this bitch for real?
Like, what?
Donald fucking Trump.
Did she just say bingo when she don't have bingo?
But he was killed in 2004 when George W. Bush was president.
Allison, may I
But
chime
Donald
in,
Trump
please?
wasn't there.
This guy on the left is just like,
cannot believe it.
I just have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I'd like to comment about how fucking ridiculous this Katrina Pierson
I'd like
woman
to
is.
at least start chipping away at this.
Can I just, Jesus.
And Donald Trump wasn't there in Iraq in 2004 when he got killed, so he has no connection to it.
President.
Allison, may I
But
chime
Donald
in,
Trump
please?
wasn't there. That is the only point. That is the only point. Donald Trump is being blamed for something he had nothing to do with. And he did not attack this family.
You were blaming
he just
President
simply
Obama.
said, I had nothing to do with
Katrina,
it.
the words that you used probably cost his life. President Obama and Hillary Clinton changed the rules of engagement that probably cost his life. You do acknowledge now that you were just wrong.
Yeah, so she had come out and said that Hillary Clinton and President Obama were at fault for the younger Khan losing his life because they changed the rules of engagement, and that's why he's dead.
While Hillary Clinton was a senator,
and Barack Obama was
not a lawyer.
Was not president of the United States.
Well, absolutely. That's why I used probably, because I was just going through the timeline. Because since
Your
then,
timeline's
we
fucked.
have.
That's why I said probably, because people will just fucking hear whatever I say, and if they already agree with me, they're not going to question it.
Yeah, because I already have had a narrative, so I was kind of guessing at stuff and, throwing it out there to see what would stick.
Of course, it's the black man's fault.
Yeah. It's like I was probably born in 1920, or I might not have been.
Probably.
Timeline, because since then we have had tens of thousands of soldiers that have been lost, 1 million wounded, $6 trillion.
Not tens of thousands of soldiers' lives lost.
We haven't even had 1 million soldiers in the Middle East.
She's yanking these numbers
How many people have died in the entire time we've been there since 2001?
It's between 4,000 and 5,000 people have been there.
So not even a total of 10,000 have died in the entire time.
And definitely not tens of thousands.
And there's not even 1 million people in our military.
Yeah. Okay.
But we have millions injured.
Yes. We have more injured than are actually in our military.
She's just making shit up. And they get away with this stuff all the fucking time. And what's funny is they're calling her out on all of this other stuff, not even catching all of the other lies that are
she's
just
adding
flying out of
on.
her fucking head. Yeah.
Dollars later. How can we possibly put any of the onerous on Donald Trump?
Onerous?
The onerous? It's not the onerous. It's an onerous situation. You can't put the onus on Donald Trump, is what you should have said, stupid motherfucker.
$1 million later. How can we possibly put any of the onerous on Donald Trump? It is absolutely absurd, and that's why you see all this confusion surrounding this issue, because Donald Trump had absolutely nothing to do with it.
I think she's confused.
The confusion about this issue is because of people like you
making
stupid
shit up.
Fucking turd.
Donald Trump for Captain Khan's death. You were blaming President Obama, and he wasn't president yet.
No, I was talking about Hillary Clinton specifically voting for the war.
But you said Obama.
And that was during that time period.
No, it wasn't.
Katrina, you acknowledge you got it wrong.
Donald Trump did not vote for that war.
He's not a
period.
Donald Trump in
politician.
an interview in 2000, he said he was supportive of the war before.
Of course Donald Trump didn't fucking vote for it. He was not in a position of power to vote for it. What is he going to do? Fucking sit at his speak and spell and Donald Trump votes for this.
He probably
He
did.
was a Democrat at that time anyway.
Yeah.
But Obama certainly didn't vote for it.
Nope.
No.
He said he was supportive of the war before the invasion.
He
it was
did
only,
not
he
vote
absolutely
for the war.
said
He did
was
not
supportive.
choose
He couldn't
to
have
send
voted.
troops.
He was a private person.
He was a private person.
He
Barack
wasn't
Obama
in
did not
Congress.
vote
That's
for
my
it.
point, Allison.
Well, that just proves my point.
What is his way?
That just proves my point. Donald Trump had nothing to do with this.
She, not to be mean, but she probably needs to be hit over the head to be smarter.
That's my point. That's why this is a ridiculous conversation. Donald Trump had nothing to do with sending troops like Captain Khan into Iraq to begin with.
Nor
That's
did he
the
have
only
anything to
point
do
here.
with opposing it until after the war had begun and wasn't going well.
But it doesn't matter. He had nothing to do with this war that sent Captain Khan over there. I mean, that's the whole point here. Mr. Trump had nothing to do with this, but somehow,
Neither did
for the
Hillary
last few
or
days,
Obama.
this has been revolving around a war and Donald Trump, something that he had nothing to do with.
You know who did something to do with it? George Bush.
No, it's revolving around Donald Trump's lack of respect for what's gone on since that war was started. Or at least toward Captain Khan.
The troops in general, I mean,
Yeah, definitely that, but
yeah,
the reason why this has come up is because of his comments since then. It has nothing to do with who voted for it.
And his surrogates like Katrina Pierson, who just goes out there and fucking lies about things.
Yeah.
Just bald-faced fucking lies and making up of shit while she's being interviewed. Tens of thousands of soldiers.
I know. How did she prepare to be on CNN?
Yeah.
What did she do?
Millions of our soldiers wounded because of this? What a fucking dunce.
She went to Trump's Journal and got all the big numbers.
She went to Trump University. That's what happened.
Yeah,
and she
Trump
really
University.
focused on her contouring.
Yeah.
Megan's making fun of her makeup.
I'm in the business. I can.
All right.
So I just had to look it up real quick. So the most amount of troops in Iraq at one given time was 170,000 soldiers.
Uh-huh.
And that was in 2007.
Yeah.
That was the most amount at any given time. Now, everyone I know that's been there has been there 3-4 times.
Uh-huh.
So we were there for 10 years.
And we've lost tens of thousands of those people.
No, we've only lost just around 4,000.
So we've had, let's see, tens of thousands. That would have to be at least 20,000, right? To qualify as tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Could 11 or 12,000 be tens?
No.
Not quite, right?
No. To be tens of thousands, it's got to be a multiple of 10, right?
Okay.
So.
All right. I'm just trying to give the benefit, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 20+ thousand have to.
At a minimum. Yeah.
In Iraq and Afghanistan combined, there were 6,845 troops that were killed, and there were nearly 50,000 service members wounded or injured.
Are you sure it's not millions, Ryan?
So tens of thousands of
I
wounded.
see a 5,
tens of thousands wounded, sure, yeah.
I see a 5 and 4 zeros for the 50,000. And I see no zeros in the 6,845.
Huh. Well, clearly that's wrong because we just heard Katrina Pierson give us the real numbers.
Yeah, I guess,
and she works for Donald Trump, so she has all the best numbers.
This is coming from Forbes, so.
Her numbers are huge.
Yeah. Yeah, 50,000 non-fatal casualties in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Well, that's all I have for this evening.
Yeah.
You calling it?
I think so.
Okay.
I think this might be a little bit of a long one.
That's all right.
They enjoy it.
It'll be fine.
We had a regular length show plus Lucien.
Yeah.
After we cut all your fuckery, it'll be a normal length
True.
show.
Sorry, I derailed it with my fucking crazy rant talks of
social Duffyism.
My Aaron
social
Rand stuff.
Duffyism, yeah. Next week
we got a show.
The week after that, I believe, is Matt Dillahunty. Yes. 2 weeks from today is Matt Dillahunty. So
we'll find something fun for you next week.
Next week, we may be reporting on Donald Trump exiting the race. I don't know.
We don't know what's going to happen.
Biting the head off of a small child in the crowd.
How Donald Trump could have exited by the time you hear this.
Yeah.
He could have exited while we're recording this. We just don't know yet.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. I think his ego will keep him in longer than a sane person.
Actually, I doubt he exited while we're recording this, because if he would have exited while recording this, we probably would have heard a loud cheer from outside the house, a loud rumble.
We are in Utah, which is very much not for Trump. Which seems weird to me.
Yeah, but very much for Cruz. So don't get mistaken that it's a liberal state.
No, yeah, it's not at all liberal. They don't like the particular brand of red that they ended up with.
Yeah, Utah is fairly red. I mean, red enough to think it's been
not fairly
used.
red. It's deep red.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those deep reds where, like, the police check on you because, like, whoa, have you been getting beat up?
But because of Donald Trump, it is considered purple currently.
Yeah, which still looks beat up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Utah voted very heavily for Cruz and Sanders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary got crushed here.
Yeah.
If Utah were to go blue, it would be the first time in more than 50 years.
Yep.
Crazy.
Which is exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope Donald Trump stays in the race as long as possible, because he's just going to continue harming the Republican brand in general. And I think that's a glorious thing.
Yeah.
As if they hadn't already been doing a marvelous job at it.
Yeah.
But now it's making Republicans realize it.
I mean, only some.
Some, but it's growing.
They allowed the religious right to come in and take over their party, and because of it, they won a few elections, but it's also going to be the demise of the Republican Party. And unless they can weed that shit out, they will destroy themselves.
We hope.
And they'll never see
it's true. It's happening.
Cause.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a great time to be super into politics. I've always really liked politics, and this year has just been fucking amazing.
The clown show has been true.
I was thinking earlier today that I kind of understand why people get involved with soap operas. and I for a moment thought, well, I should start cutting those people some kind of slack. And then I reminded myself, no, because none of that shit is real and it doesn't fucking matter. And they get so wrapped up in it. This is real fucking life.
Yeah.
This affects millions of people, billions of people.
Oh, so you do understand my superhero argument. I knew it.
But I'm just totally fucking digging this. And I look forward to the debates. They're gonna be, I lay awake at night just thinking about how wonderful the debates will be if Donald Trump stays in the race that long. It's going to be so fucking much fun. And I hope you guys will watch them with me.
Oh, I will. I think we'll be here.
All right. We're going to shut things down for this evening. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we will chat at you next week.
Put us in your ear holes.
Bye-bye.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. Welcome to the room of people who have rooms of people that they loved one day docked away. Just because we check the guns at the door doesn't mean our brains will change from hand grenades. You love another psychopath sitting next to you. You love another murderer sitting next to you. You think I'd get here sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. We don't deal with outsiders very well. They They say newcomers have a certain smell. Yeah, trust issues not to mention. They say they can smell your intentions. You laughing on the freak show sitting next to you. You laugh some weird people sitting next to you. You think how did I get here sitting next to you? But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. Why'd you come? You knew you should have stayed. I tried to warn you just to stay away. And now they're outside ready to bust. It looks like you might be one of us.
That was a good one.
Matt, that's Matt's favorite.
So fucking annoying.
Now I get to fucking dress up as Smokey the fucking Bear for the afternoon.
Are you serious?
Outside in 100-degree fucking heat. She shot the guy in the neck with an arrow that was on fire.
What?
She missed.
She shot him in the neck?
Yeah.
Was she trying to shoot him in the head or like an apple?
So
off
you see
his
the
head,
target
or-
he has in his mouth? So it's a sword swallower.
Okay.
So he had the target in his mouth attached to like a sword, and she was supposed to hit that target. She missed and hit him right in the fucking clavicle.
Rainbows, lollipops, and
arrows in the neck.
I'm not sure if it is a compliment that people prefer when we have guests. No, I really like your show as long as you guys aren't on it.